I'm going to cut that. And we will go right here. Hey, everybody on YouTube. How y'all doing tonight? We got a great show as my good friend, the beautiful, lovely, talented, and gorgeous souled Geraldine Orozco is back with us for another edition of The Spiritual You. We are going to have a great time tonight with Geraldine. We're going to get into some major topics around the UFO field, around spirituality, about coming together, and we are going to have a great, great time tonight. Let's get everybody in here so far as we say good night and good evening and good morning to both Nathan Allen. The gorgeous and lovely Tina Smith is here. The Ronald Penton, everybody. The Ronald Penton has joined us. Jurassic Joey, good to see you. Beautiful Becky Belling is here, everyone. Jack Clark, the Jack Clark is here. And who else do we got? We got Ross and Worsley. Good to have you gentlemen here with us once again. Bee's Nest, is always a pleasure to have you here. Spookles the cat is back after taking a night off to hunt some mice in the forest last night. She is back. She is the queen of our social media content. We love her around here. Thank you for everything you do, Spookles. You are the best. Devin, always a pleasure to have you here. Teresa Davis is here, everyone. Make sure you clap your hands a little bit for the gorgeous Teresa Davis. The stunning Tammy Finnegan has arrived, everyone. Yes, that is a faux fur coat that she is wearing tonight. Always a pleasure to have Tammy here. Brett Lewis is here, everyone. We can officially start the show. Jarhead, thank you for coming on in, man. Steam Train Mark in Australia, thank you for letting us know that we have survived tomorrow as you live in the future and are predicting things as we go. New York Anthony, always a pleasure to have you here, my friend. Go 66. Boo to you. Vintage Beard, you're looking awesome tonight. Thank you so much for coming on in. Triple M, good to have you here. Thurston, second night in a row for you. Always a pleasure to have regulars join us, even if you're new. Chocobo, thanks for coming on in. The gorgeous Canadian, Manitoba Becky, there she is, everyone. Chris Jarvis, Larry Schultz, thank you for coming on in. Yes, Denali Princess. We have royalty in our chat room tonight with Denali Princess. Gemini Moon, you are looking beautiful tonight. Minister Elaine, always a pleasure to have you here, my beautiful friend. Horror Realm, good to see you here. The lovely and talented Jenny is here. Thank you for coming, my dear. Spudger, good to have you back, my friend. And I think we're caught up. Geraldine, how are you? I know you probably look just beautiful in one of your lavish gowns and your nice choice of shoes for tonight. How are you, my dear?
Hey, everybody. I'm fantastic. Thank you so much, Dave. Excited to be here as always.
I know.
Ready to start another amazing show. And thank you guys so much for tuning in. You guys are amazing.
I think so. I think we're going to have a good time. Stunt Brat, welcome to our chat room for the first time. Thank you so much for joining us. Isaac from San Antonio, Texas. I was supposed to be in San Antonio last weekend, man, but thanks to COVID, I couldn't be. I cannot wait to visit your city. I got a lot of friends there, and thank you for joining us in the chat room tonight. Corin's the booking guy. Good to have you back. Yes, Geraldine Orozco tonight, everyone. And we are going to have a blast with her. If you ever get the opportunity to go to a conference when we're allowed to again and watch Geraldine speak, her eloquence is phenomenal with her experiences and her knowledge that she has got. We are so blessed to have her here once a month with the Spiritual You. This is like 3 years we've been doing this, you know.
I know. It's amazing how time flies, Dave, but it's been an honor. It's been such a beautiful ride. And always such a gift to run into you when we go to conferences, you know, when we speak there, and so great to connect with our listeners too. Yes. I just ran into one of our listeners the other day.
Oh, cool.
And it was so interesting, you know, it's like, oh, I heard you on the radio on the Spiritual You. I said, oh my God, that's perfect. So
Yay,
great to hear you.
us.
So I think we're getting out there. Yeah.
Perfect.
It's really great.
Perfect. That just makes me happy. Totally makes me happy. All right, we've got one feed going, and we got 52 people already tuned on in, waiting for us. We set a record last night with 194 people tuned in and 127 thumbs up. Hey, Chef Chemist, how are you, my friend? Good to have you back. All right. And do me a favor, if you haven't already, give us a thumbs up or thumbs down, whatever you feel about the show. If you're new to the channel and you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, we'd greatly appreciate it if you did, as well as that bell thingy. Apparently, it lets you know when we're on the air. If you're interested in supporting this show, you can do so on our website, spacedoutradio.com, by going to our SOR vault, doing a little shopping for yourself, and joining the Space Travelers Club for like $5 a month. Bill WD-40 is in the other chat room, everyone. That means we are officially lubed up and ready to slide on into tonight's show. I'm very excited about it. Hi, Cashew. Good to have you here. And we are about 5 seconds away from launching tonight's show. I'm excited. We're going to have a good one. Geraldine Orozco. Music is on. Jose, good evening to you, my friend. Thank you for coming on in. Hello, Torrance in the other chat room. Becky, I already said hi to you. I can't use it up twice now. I'm kidding. You're looking awesome, Becky. Here we go, everyone. Let's have a great show tonight, shall we? Okay, I'm going to read this intro thing, like, right now. From the mountains of central British Columbia to you listening around the world, this, my friends, is Spaced Out Radio. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. Thank you so much for tuning us in, especially if you're listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America and digitally on TalkStream Live and Revolution Radio. If you want to take a listen to our archives, they are free for you at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Tonight's show is brought to you by Chive Charities. Help make the world 10% happier by visiting Chive Charities today. You can find them on our website. Geraldine Orozco is one of our more popular monthly guests, and we get our Zen and Chi fired up for the spiritual you. Geraldine's path to spirituality started with a life-changing contact experience in 2013, which resulted in the activation of psychic abilities. Then in 2017, she underwent several hypnotic regressions with vetted therapists. Regressions uncovering a lifelong history of ET abduction and participation in human hybridization. Currently, she believes she has 24 hybrid children as a result. Her life now is dedicated to the dissemination of knowledge of hybridization programs and the correction of the commonly held dogma of the human genetic timeline, historical record, and human structure. Geraldine is the owner of Bay Area Meditation in San Francisco, California, which specializes in corporate wellness programs for Silicon Valley giants like Google, Facebook, and Instagram. You can find her at GeraldineOrozco.com. Then at the bottom of hour number 3, I will bring you the SOR Newswire, brought to you by Paranoia Magazine. The lovely and talented Geraldine Orozco. It is always a pleasure to have you here, my friend, as we kick off the last third of 2020 already. My gosh, this year just cannot end fast enough.
I know, it's amazing how time has flown, but what a year it's been. What a beginning of a revolution, of a change inside out. I'm excited, Dave. How about you?
Oh, you know what? I'm going to be honest with you. I've had a good time during everything that's gone on the last few months. I have perfected wearing pajama bottoms. You know, I cut my hair.
Yeah.
I've decided that I'm growing a new beard, you know, and I'm going to use my Mighty Moose beard oil as a, you know, to keep my chin hairs feeling soft and cuddly. I've had a good time, you know, getting to know nature in my yard and going to look for Bigfoot. I'm good at this. I'm not going to lie. I am very good at this. This is an introvert's dream, what is going on right now.
I agree. As an introvert myself, it's been wonderful, and I've gotten a lot done and gotten ready for the next half of this year, or the last quarter of the year, as you were saying, and next year, which is going to be very interesting. So I'm excited.
All right. You know what? 2020 has been such mired in. I mean, I remember when we were all growing up thinking, man, it's going to be cool when it's like year 2020. We were all looking forward to this one. Everyone was. There wasn't one single person out there who was going to say it was going to be this much of a crap show. You know, everybody was looking forward to it because of the year, the number, the television show. We were all wondering if Barbara Walters would introduce This is 2020. What a year it has been, you know, but emotionally draining for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm. It has. It's been a roller coaster ride. I think that we've all learned a lot. We've experienced. We have gone through, dark nights of the soul, I think, all at once, throughout these past 4 months. And then we've come out, and I think we're coming into a new change. I mean, this is a really important month for us. I think that we are beginning to kind of balance ourselves within all this chaos, which is the beginning of major change in the world. So you guys, we made it through this far. If you guys were able to get it through this far, you guys are going to be good for the next couple of years. I mean, we're just getting started with changes, but we've learned so much, it's been incredible.
What have you learned about yourself since this whole pandemic has been going on?
One of the most amazing things that I've experienced during all of this, first of all, to trust my intuition. I feel like I have, and I know a lot of you always write me and let me know that you guys have been feeling and having these premonitions of a big change, of something coming. And I know that I have come across the information that we're going to go through major fear manipulation soon. In my hypnosis regression in 2017, that was one of the things that I saw in the regression, is that a huge fear kind of energy is coming into our space in which will manipulate us. And we really did go through that. And what I've learned is even though you reach these high levels of understanding of what it is to be balanced, of aware of your emotions, of mastering your emotions, of mastering fear, it's like the levels keep going more profound. The levels of experiencing fear and learning to manage and control yourself when you're in a state of fear and imbalance. And for me, the past 4 months have been a beautiful demonstration of when I trust my intuition. It really resonates, not only with me, but I connect with people that are in that same resonance. And you can affect change. You can even change timelines. By identifying what I want to experience in this moment, I can change the way I experience my reality. And I've proven that to myself. I've proven that to my family, to my nucleus here, which I am share this time with, and even more so with friends, with clients. It's been a powerful expression of the embodiment of how to change and choose timelines. So one of the things that I'd love to share is how to do that, how we want to do that now moving forward.
One thing that I have learned about myself is I have really, really grown impatient with people. Coming up and, I've always been very open with my depression and anxiety, that I do suffer from it. I don't hide from it because I think there's nothing to hide from. But I can say this, over time, with watching people be so paranoid with living today, paranoid and living out of fear. Look, I'm not a coronavirus denier or COVID denier or anything like that. I know people who have had it. I've watched and talked to my cousin who runs one of the COVID departments in British Columbia, as he's one of the province's top doctors when it comes to disease specialists. Okay. And I talked to him about it. I'm very, very comfortable in saying I don't think this is a conspiracy. I don't think this is anything that is, that is governmental or anything along those lines. As my cousin put it, I can say this. He put it that every now and again throughout history, Mother Nature gets really pissed off at what we're doing to the planet. And I believe that. I think that was the most profound statement I have heard through this entire phenomena. And, but the one thing that I cannot handle is the paranoia of people, everybody being scared, everybody ripping into other people because their beliefs or their thoughts are different. Wear a mask, don't wear a mask. You know what? I don't wear a mask, but I carry a mask with me just in case. So that way I don't, make other people uncomfortable. Do I like it? No. But this whole disease thing seems to have really brought out a lot of paranoia, a lot of fear, a lot of rage, a lot of anger for no reason. And this is why I'm so happy, Geraldine, to be an introvert. I really am.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's a good point that you bring up. I think we've kind of learned to kind of go with the flow in these times. And being in a state of acceptance of others. I feel like we've been moving. We've all been, experiencing these shocking things that we're hearing in the media. And it's incredible how we can all be so easily moved or manipulated or told what to do when information is put out, But I think it's important to trust yourself. You trust yourself, Dave, so you feel grounded, you feel true to yourself, and you act that way. And that causes a state of stability in you and trust in yourself and what you're doing. And so that's really important. It's important that we embody that self-trust right now.
It very much is, because I think we need to be able to get back to liking people again. And, I'm not going to go down the political road because, number one, I think it just opens up a major can of worms that nobody needs to hear. But when you look at everything that's happening politically in the United States where you are, in Canada where I am, when you look at the way that this pandemic has really, cost people a lot, not only financially. For some, they've lost their jobs. There's other businesses around that have been shutting down, that have been running, steadily for decades. And they're no longer there. People are scared. People don't know what to think anymore, who to trust anymore. Can you trust the media? I don't know. And I can understand where it's happening, but how do we start to like people again?
And that's one of the effects that was, I believe, a part of all of this. A part of this. How do you get people to be afraid of each other, of one another, and to separate and want to isolate is by, putting out something like this. But not to say that what we went through wasn't really what was happening. Obviously, there is a certain virus that's out, and we do have to be careful. But at the same time, we look at the aspect of ourselves psychologically, what we went through, and there's going to be a lot of recovery. There's going to be a lot of recovery that's required now, because a lot of people have now undergone really high stress situations. People that, like introverts, like you and me, that already like to be isolated. Now, when we're told that it's not safe to go out, a lot of people are going to be feeling even more unsafe, and they're going to want to continue these kinds of patterns of self-protection, self-preservation. So, the question is, did we like other people to begin with, before we started this? I think that what this time has shown us is that there's a lot of division. There's a lot of uncertainty. There's a lot of division, and there's a lot of separation in the way that we see ourselves and others. And I think that's interesting that we experience that. But now, more than ever, it's a time to change that perception, because as you can see, as we see clearly what's been demonstrated in the world, separation and isolating yourself and going into a concept of division with one another, in whether it's our concepts, our belief systems, whatever it is, causes more suffering than healing, and it's less productive for our whole picture and what we want to accomplish here. What we need to be going towards now is a unity consciousness, is a way of holding space so that as a community we can come together to begin to support one another. And we're seeing that in the world today. We're seeing people gather together, putting their voices together, speaking up for themselves, speaking up for what they believe in. And I think it's necessary. I think it's necessary for us. How do we begin to love others and like others and accept and tolerate others? We have to begin to tolerate ourselves and what we hate about ourselves, where we find separation intolerable in ourselves, and start to work on that, because as you know, everything that's outside is a reflection of what's happening within you. So the sooner we begin to confront the parts of us that want to have that division, that see yourself as separate from others because of their beliefs, because of their race, their creed, their religion, culture, all of those things, that is what's dissolving right now. It's dissolving. Everything that's occurring right now is meant to dissolve that. So the year 2020, we never expected it was going to be like this, but this is the year of unity. It's the year of coming back together, integration, and it's been building up to this point. So it's time to embody that, I think.
As people, how do we regain the spiritual connection that we have with other people on this planet? I mean, you know what? It's rare now that you walked, even in my community, when I moved here 5 years ago, Geraldine, I'll be honest with you, coming from city life, I was dumbfounded that there was people, strangers, waving at me and saying hello when I walked down the sidewalk, or holding doors open for me. And, one thing I've noticed throughout the pandemic is we've lost that respect for each other because we don't want to get too close. We don't want people breathing on us, coughing on us, sneezing on us, saying hello, smiling at us. We don't want any of that anymore. Just go away, grab your coupons from the grocery store and get the hell out. This is what it's come down to. And to me, I look at that as a real spiritual loss for everybody on the planet.
And it is, but you see, we've kind of come into this state of survival mode. We've been pushed into a state of being in a state of survival. Anytime that we're in survival, we think that what's outside will hurt us, will affect us, will cause us harm. And so that's where we have to really sit down and kind of think and rationalize clearly, what exactly are we saying there? Okay. And so, I mean, there's a lot of information going around, but let's talk about what's true and what we can affect right now. Okay, what we can do now is by working on ourselves, on our parts of ourselves that are causing this illusion of separation, is what causes us the greatest harm. Because if we continue to see everything in the eyes of division, if we keep looking at wanting to be separate from others, that's going to cause us a lot of harm, and it already does, right? We pay too much attention to this external body. The external body, we think of ourselves as this identity of this human being. You are Dave in your body. I am Geraldine in my body. And then we have these stories that we make up around our lives and the things that we are and supposed to be attached to this identity. But we're coming into a time where the things have to change. Our focus has to move from being single individuals and to appease the individual need and self, and become more of a unity kind of way of thinking. Okay, we need to look at what's good for all of us. Stop looking at each other as just individual entities. We are one entity. We in other words, our infinite consciousness, which is fragmented into individual bodies, individual souls. If we begin to look at ourselves and others in a way that we're not just fixated on the physicality of ourselves, we begin to shift in more ways than one. Psychologically, we begin to shift. Physiologically, and even chemically in the body, we begin to change our frequency and our vibration, how we present ourselves. We begin to expand our view of how we're interacting with things around us. And that is going to be essential, an essential way of thinking and moving in the world going forward. In reality, We are all individual souls. That is the most important thing. That's the most valuable currency of consciousness in this entire universe. If there was a currency of exchange and value, it is the human soul. So each and every one of you is that soul. You are that light. And if you start to look at each other like you are lights, one soul to another, all of these illusions of separation and compartmentalization will begin to dissolve. And I think what's being asked of us now is to elevate the way that we perceive our reality to this level where we are moving past the general physical minutia of everyday life. We really have to get it together here. Because if we continue to just focus on those things that cause us more beliefs of separation and division, it's going to cause us a great stress, anxiety. We're going to believe that we're separate. And that's an illusion. It's an illusion. And there's a lot of different agendas of distraction that are being put out now to push that belief system that we're separate. And that is really what will cause more harm in the long run, and in short term. So that's one thing that we got to focus on now, is to try to move away from that individual physical identity.
See, what's hurting me, and I'm going to take someone, I'm a very spiritual person. You know that I am, as I said earlier, I suffer from anxiety and depression. But what gets me and what hurts me as a person right now, and I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who would agree with this, is being looked at that I am infected. Do you see what I'm saying? I remember I went to buy a pair of flip-flops. We have one shoe store in town, okay? And trust me, their selection is not pretty unless you're getting winter boots, okay? Because they always have a good selection of winter boots. They keep your feet warm. Did you know that you can get winter boots that go up to like minus 50, minus 55 degrees Fahrenheit? Yeah. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Trust me. Yeah, it's good. It's good to have solid footwear in the cold because it gets cold up here. But that's not the point that I'm getting at, okay? I go in to buy a pair of flip-flops and I get serviced by a lady who is so paranoid that even if I twitched to go in her direction, she was literally jumping 3 steps back. Okay, jumping, like not just walking backwards out of security, but jumping. And I felt horrible. That this was happening. I felt sorry for her that she was so paranoid that she couldn't trust me. I felt dirty. I felt I wasn't good enough, that I shouldn't be there. I ended up going to the manager, who I know, because I pulled a full Karen on this one. Went to the manager, and who I've known for a few years, and I said, I'm sorry, but I cannot deal with your employee. And I opened up. I said, I suffer from anxiety, and what she is doing is really firing up my anxiety. So I'm asking you politely to please help me pick out a pair of flip-flops, or I have to leave. Now in my community, there's been one case. Okay. There's been one case throughout this entire pandemic, which is fantastic. Okay. But and I know there's cities and communities that have been rocked by this, okay? But in my town, not a lot of people wear masks, okay? Because we don't like the outsiders coming in here. We don't like the outsiders. Them city folk are bad news when they come around here. But, we only got about 30 seconds left. But I'll be honest with you, like rounding out this elongated story here, I felt like I was beneath people, okay, because I was being projected as potentially being infected, and that bothered me.
Yep. Yeah, and I feel for you, Dave, because I've experienced the same thing, and so this is exactly what I'm saying. Like we need to, in this moment, we need to set the example for how to embody this new human. The new human is a person that is, loves themselves and embodies self-awareness on such a level that will hold space, Dave. And I understand we are all going through these moments of uncertainty, and it's unfortunate to experience such a reaction.
Geraldine, hold that thought.
Yeah.
We're going to continue this because it's important for us to have this conversation on The Spiritual You with Geraldine Orozco from BayAreaMeditation.com. We continue right after this on Spaced Out Radio. Oh, yeah, that bothered me, dude. That bothered me big time.
Yeah, I'm so sorry that happened for sure. And it happened the same thing to me at the beginning of the year. It was very uncomfortable. I feel
horrible.
it.
It's horrible.
But yeah.
It's horrible. Hold on, I'm just opening my window. There we go.
Yep.
Let some fresh air in here. Some disease-filled air.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was ready to, like, totally go Iron Sheik on her and, like, suplex her. But
you know,
I probably
Dave,
would have been kicked out of the store.
Yeah, I know. And a lot of people, they tell me that they're experiencing these things. It's just very hurtful.
Oh,
but
yeah.
We got to be compassionate for these people, you know, for the people that are suffering. That means that girl, can you imagine what her reality is like right now? I mean, she feels like everyone is a danger to her. What a terrible state of being to live in, you know? It's just awful.
Hey, chef, no, I am not. That was my chair that squeaks, okay? It was nothing flatulent about that. Sorry. Pardon my language, Geraldine. You're still beautiful. I know. The sickos that I have to broadcast to every night. My Canucks got smoked tonight. Oh, it's just terrible. Terrible. Not happy. I think it's still in the third period here. Pardon me. Hold on. Great go. I did not. I'd admit to it. I'm man enough to admit to it. Hold on. I got to get the score of the hockey game here. I know you're not into hockey, Geraldine, but I'll keep you filled in. Holy shit, we won! Holy shit! We were down.
Congratulations.
Holy shit. We were down 3-0. How the hell did this happen? Oh, no, we weren't. I read the wrong score. Oh, life is beautiful. Life is beautiful.
Yeah. It is really beautiful. It is. We have to find the beauty even in these things that are so awful, but also it's a time for action. You know, it is a time for action.
Totally is. What actions are you taking, GeraldineOrozco.com?
A lot of changes are going into play right now for the next couple of months. We gotta prepare, I think. I mean, look what's happening around the world. A lot of gatherings and you know, it's very interesting. Have you guys been keeping up with those?
Which one am I keeping up with?
Germany, Europe, all over the place.
I have honestly, you got to realize I was a news hound for a long time, and I cannot watch it now. I cannot watch it. You know what's sad is as a former journalist, when I cannot watch the news to decide or decipher whether or not I'm having the shit pulled over my eyes, it's scary. You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
that's true. The interesting thing is that none of this has been on the news. Actually, it hasn't actually been on the news yet. Some of these things are actually being reported by civilians, by bloggers in those areas, which is interesting. Yeah.
What's going on? Fill us in.
Well, Germany, for example, and in England, they're getting together to do protests against these, COVID.
Oh, yeah. I get you. Yeah. We've got less than 90 seconds left. I'm going to assume that your mask is gold plated.
Nope, it's not gold plated. That's not where I keep my gold.
Mm-hmm. By the way, that was very, very polite reaction to the hockey scores, by the way. Even though you're like, shut the hell up, Dave.
No, congratulations. Hey, if you that's your team. Good for you.
It is my team. We were on the cusp. Hey, John Hudson, how's your Stetson tonight? You don't know what it's like to be on the cusp of elimination of the Stanley Cup playoffs, Geraldine. It's stressful.
Well, congratulations.
Yeah, shut the hell up and change the topics, Dave. Okay, I'm done hockey, all right? All right, I'm done. One day I'll take you to a game down in San Jose. And hopefully there will be a lot of fights, and you'll be like, what are they doing, Dave? Why are they doing this? And I'll be like, just let him go, Geraldine. Just let him go. It's okay. All right, my dear, here we go. All right. I got this stupid mustache hair that's tickling my nostrils right now. It better not make me sneeze, because I'll be pissed right off. Okay, here we go. Music's on. Welcome back to the second half hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. Thank you so much for tuning us in. Reminder to all of you that if you've missed portions of this show or others, you can check out our free archives at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show. Tonight we are talking with Geraldine Orozco and the Spiritual You. Geraldine joins us at the beginning of each month to talk about everything from spirituality and consciousness all the way to ET contact. And right before the break, we were talking about, the way we are spiritually right now, because as a society, I think we're drained. We are drained. We want 2020 to be over. We need a fresh start to a brand new year. Geraldine, welcome back.
Thank you so much. Happy to be here.
So we've just kicked off a brand new month here, the month of September, the final third of 2020. We're in the home stretch to getting this son of a gun done. Okay. And, this is something where I think people are like, oh, Lordy, thank you. It's almost over. One third to go. You wanted to talk about September and the energy that surrounds a brand new month.
Yeah, so one thing that I really want to highlight for this month is that, our bodies are going to be experiencing physically more symptoms, and it's a matter of integrating the energies that we're experiencing here universally. One of the things that we're kind of coming into is that any kind of physical changes or anything that we're not doing to support our physical body, we're going to really feel it this month. So take special precaution, take attention, take time out to really support your physical body. Rest, make sure you're eating a healthy diet, make sure that your body is taken care of in more than one way. Your food, relationships, your spiritual self, in order to create whole health, right? We talk about holistic whole health. There are many aspects of the physical body and the non-physical body that have to be addressed. Make sure that you're aligning yourself with all of those aspects of yourself, the intellectual mind, the social aspect of your life, the spiritual aspect of your life, your health, mind and body, and also your financial. What are you creating? What are you manifesting in your life? All of those different aspects of your creation and your abilities, you have to make sure that everything is in balance. So take time to support yourself in those areas, in other words. So this month, it's going to be very apparent that any time that we're not getting enough rest or any time that we're out of balance emotionally, it's going to start affecting the body. You're going to feel it as blockages physically. This can even turn into pain or, minor imbalances or something that even feels like symptoms of a cold or a flu sometimes. This is an adjustment of the body because we have been energetically moving through heavy, heavy amounts of change all around us. The body has been under a lot of stress for a couple months. balance. And so, as you know, anytime that we start to feel out of balance, that's when the body starts to feel it. So take the precautions necessary. Make sure you're taking vitamins, sleep, eating, drinking lots of water, and taking time to silence that mind so that you can begin to listen and have that dialogue between the mind-body connection. That's really important right now. So that's one of the things that I want to focus on. The next part is in the spiritual realm, when you are connecting more with yourself in meditation, notice messages that come through, okay? And it's important to dedicate time, because a lot of times we tend to speak out before we think. We act before we think. These are things that we have to start to kind of monitor, because a lot of cause and effect is reactionary, right? A lot of the times, we are not even aware of why we're responding to things the way we respond. We just react automatically. And all of those automatic reactions are a product of past experiences, past trauma, fears, anxieties. And so when we start getting into those dialogues and those patterns of behavior, they cause more problems in our life, suffering not just to ourselves in the long term, but to others as well. So be cautious of that. Be mindful. Right now on the internet, everyone feels like it's a free-for-all. They can say whatever they want and express themselves in every way. But there is a fine line between a freedom of speaking your mind and speaking mindfully, cautiously, and with awareness. So that's going to be really important coming into this month, because what's happening is a lot of people are expressing themselves in a way that is kind of boundless in a sense. We're freedom of speech is a hot topic right now. So as we're going through this transition where we are really in a time where a lot of things are being censored online, in social media, in the media itself, things are being very censored, and we're being in a way limited in what we can speak. So we're kind of experiencing this collective rebalancing of what it means to have a freedom of speech. What does it mean when you do have that freedom? Where are you investing your intention, and what are you creating with the things that you're saying? It's important that when you speak mindfully, and you're aware of how it can affect others. In the next couple of months, as we rebalance our ability to communicate more clearly, we want to try to communicate from a place that is intuitive and that is very connected to what's real, not just for ourselves, but what is necessary for the collective well-being. We have to pull out, as I was saying earlier, from that very individualistic way of looking at things, and come into a more collective, more holistic, more wholesome way of looking and sharing these experiences with one another. So if we can try to kind of move into this awareness, this conscious awareness and state of being, it would be beneficial for not just ourselves and how we create dialogues with one another, but also, what we're sharing in the world will hopefully be more mindful and coming from a place of more integrated truth. That's going to be important.
Okay, so with that, and we look at everything that has happened. A lot of people are still living minute by minute. The big scare right now for a lot of people, especially with COVID, is the fact that we are potentially going to see a second run of this as we get into flu season, which could fire things back up, which could lead to another lockdown of sorts. Now, I'm not saying it's going to happen, so please don't go running to the store and grabbing all the toilet paper again and Metamucil. Not saying that. What I'm saying is, that there is the fact that this is weighing on a lot of people. A lot of people haven't been able to let go because they're scared for their families. They're scared for their health, maybe their parents' health, maybe their own immune systems. They're scared to go outside because of what's happening politically right now. People are locking down and afraid to even express opinion on social media because of the attacks that happen there. At what point do we stop taking virtual punches to the stomachs and faces and stand up for ourselves the way we're supposed to?
Mm-hmm. I think that time is now, Dave, because But the thing is this, we won't be able to respond to these things if we are not balanced in our opinion and in our intention. Otherwise, we're just going to be responding and reacting to things in the same way that the imbalance of these things are. I mean, what's happening here is there's an imbalance, right? In order for things to be healthy, vibrant, and creative, we need to rebalance these aspects of ourselves. We've come into the wounded masculine energy, which is always very aggressive, very dominating, very controlling. That's what we're experiencing right now. It's like the wounded masculine expression of control systems that are occurring in the world. And usually the wounded masculine will respond in this way when it's in a state of fear, when it feels unsafe. So how do you rebalance that? Within us, we first have to rebalance that kind of polarity within us. Okay, when we respond in a way that's aggressive and controlling and coming from a place of wounding and pain and fear, it's always going to respond back to us, and we're also going to be in resonance with that same exact behavior and expression and energy. So we want to shift that. We have to come into balance in a place where we are expressing ourselves from this balanced self instead of coming from a place of imbalance. So what does that mean? Our bodies, we contain the feminine and masculine aspect of ourselves. Both men and women have both polarities within. When we have a wounded feminine within us, we are acting from a place of, deception. We are cheating. We are not being honest. We are hiding. We are manipulating. We are trying to change things in dishonest ways, for example. So notice that. Notice when you are embodying any one of these imbalanced aspects of yourself. This has to change from the inside out because the world is kind of mirroring this kind of imbalance that we are. All of these things that are occurring in the world right now are here to highlight where the imbalance lies. The imbalance is in the way that we see ourselves and the world that we live in. They are in the systems of control and in society. They are in our education. They are in many different areas in our lives. Even the financial systems, the political aspect of our reality is totally out of balance. So when this imbalance happens, we got to go through some turbulent times, which is we're just at the beginning of that. Okay, so experiencing all of this turbulence right now is really a wake-up call for us to understand how to define what is real. What does it mean to be balanced? A lot of us right now, in the state that we are right now, we don't even know what it means to live a balanced life, to live in a balanced society, because we haven't had that. We're not living that. We haven't had that. And so now we need to re-educate ourselves on what it is to live a balanced life. When we move into a state of harmony and balance, we do things that are cautious, they are considerate, we are compassionate of ourselves and those around us, and we are aware. We are acting with a clear intention. So we got to be able to come into that state. The only way we come into that is by feeling safe, feeling that we're not in survival mode. So we got to change from the inside out. We got to choose where we are investing our time and our energy. If our time and energy is invested in being in survival mode and reacting to the things that others are doing that we don't agree with, we're going to just go in the same pattern of destruction that this entire world is at right now. Everyone is either destroying or self-destroying themselves by coming into this state of fear. And the fact of the matter is that even though there are a lot of terrible things that are happening in the world right now that we don't agree with right now, this is a time of transitioning. It's a time of healing. And in order to heal something, all of that infection, all of that pus, in other words, has to come out in order to be purified, to clean, to rebalance the imbalance that's occurring in the world right now. So we have to become, in a way, and I know this is hard to hear, we have to become comfortable with chaos for a little while until we can rebalance and find our grounding in a new way of being and sharing the world that we live in, because everything has to change. The way that life is right now, our society, the way it's being run politically, financially, and in the education and the food system, everything is being affected, and it needs to be cleared. It needs to be rebalanced again. So we all play a part in that. And I think the part that we play first has to be from having clarity and understanding what's truth. We are not going to understand what truth is if we are not in alignment with our core needs and what's real for us. We have to redesign what a clean, harmonizing society will look like. And it means we got to, in a way, kind of start over. We're going to be kind of starting over at this point.
How do we restart? Because we're not built with a restart button. Time continues to move forward. We're not getting any younger. Some of us aren't getting any better looking. Well, some of us are improving. We aren't, we're in the doldrums. We can't travel. For the most part. Like, I'll be honest with you, I want to go to the U.S. so bad. I've got a couple of trips planned down there, just to hang out, talk some UFOs and aliens. Can't do it. It brings everybody down. How do we restart?
Well, we got to stop focusing again on these smaller picture. The smaller picture right now is what is immediately serving us individually. I mean, and this is what this wake-up call is. It's to shake us out of the illusion of living our everyday lives where we are only focused on our survival and survival of our family, our immediate survival. We shouldn't be living this way. We never should have been living this way. We should. And we need to work towards building a society that is collaborative, that is supportive of one another, that nobody is in a state of survival, suffering, homeless, trying to make ends meet. Like, aren't we tired of that? Isn't it time to change that? Is it okay for some people to have more than others? And to have such a deep imbalance in society, in financial status, and even education. There's way too much imbalance in the world. And what I see is that what we're experiencing right now globally is an opportunity for us to begin to make minor shifts and changes, first in ourselves, then in our families, in how we are operating and living lives. I mean, I was just hearing about some complaints and some parents that were saying that they were made to sign waivers with their children in homeschooling that were unable to, the parents cannot interfere or interrupt in the child's tutoring, for example. And one of the mothers was so appalled because when she came into the room, the teacher was telling the child that she can't interact with her classmates. She can't interact with her parents. She has to be very careful because if she has some kind of virus, she's going to infect her entire family and her entire household and friends. So this is a serious thing. Our children are being programmed with very deep, fearful things that when we start looking at the science of this virus that's occurring, we're looking that, that's not really the way that works. So there's a lot of misinformation that's being put out there. Do we want to tolerate that kind of a thing? I think it's time to respond to that. And, maybe it's not the best thing to have this kind of public schools teaching our children like this. Maybe we need to start creating homeschooling programs that are going to help teach children and educate them, making them feel safe and empowered. Otherwise, we're looking at tremendous PTSD and trauma we're going to really be feeling 6 months out from here, not just from our children, but we're already feeling that with adults, as you said, like the person at the store that you were visiting. So, so we got to start getting really strong, and we got to start supporting one another at this time. And it starts with us. We got to have a strong foundation. The foundation is to know what's true. How are you going to know what's true is by, tapping in with your own intuition and listening to what your gut feeling is telling you about what's happening around here. A lot of us, we know that things have to change, and we're afraid to make that step. We're afraid to make hard choices and to take those choices, that things have to slowly, we're no longer have to be in a state of comfort the way that we were. Our comfort zones from before, they're going to have to change now, and we're going into a state in which we are moving into a more collective. We have to support one another. So that's one thing that's going to have to be changing pretty soon, Dave.
Chris is asking, how do we build up trust again?
Trust begins with you. If you don't trust yourself, you cannot trust another person. And this is something that we got to work on, because in our family, in our own nucleus, in our own family, do we trust our partners? Do we trust our children? Do we trust our own parents? Do we trust our colleagues, our friends? There's so much that we need to re-educate ourselves in terms of how to hold space to have trust. Trust means, the thing is that a lot of times we tend to externalize these needs. Why do you need trust? You need trust because you feel insecure about the things that are occurring right now in your life, and you feel that you need to be able to depend on someone else. Well, the fact of the matter is that we are interdependent, whether we like it or not. We are designed to be one organism of consciousness, but we're not acting that way. We are acting as if we are individual, and when we don't get what is required to help us survive or to meet our needs, we need to ask for someone else to help us meet those needs. So our whole concept of trust has to change. First, we have to be able to understand that we are our only source of all the most important things that we need: our love, our balance, our foundation, our understanding, our truth, our intuitive self. All of that has to be integrated first within us. And when you become this completely integrated self, you no longer require needing from the other person this kind of emotional support that we are so desperately needing right now. Okay, that's something that's important, and we all have the individual power to embody that kind of self-awareness and empowerment. And that might sound very, very hard to hear. A lot of us were like, what do you mean? I should be able to depend on others. But do you want to depend on someone that it also feels afraid of themselves, or also feels insecure of themselves and the world they live in? If the thing is, we are all kind of incomplete human beings. As a matter of fact, one of the things that I notice after going through my spiritual awakening is that in reality, the majority of us are children that have not been nurtured and developed and loved. All of us end up being humans that are heavily damaged. We're all incomplete. We're all feeling that we are not whole selves. So we have to do the homework to help us come into a state of whole self, to know that we are the providers of our own protection. We are we can provide for us financially, emotionally, in all areas of our lives. It has to start with us. So we got to start taking responsibility with that part of ourselves that needs to be a beacon of light for those around you. We can't go around hoping to get our needs met by others outside anymore. And as contrary as that might seem, this is how we create unity consciousness. Because once you can meet your needs, you have now learned how to meet and how to collaborate and how to even identify the needs of others, because you're aware of your own needs. So when somebody comes to you for help, you can now provide that support, and it's going to come from a much higher place, a more productive, creative place, than if you're coming from a place of, complete imbalance and loss. So this completely changes, the way that we look at humanity, and what we've been taught in our society is oftentimes an inversion of these truths, right? it's so mixed up, the way that we look at society, the way we look at ourselves. So we have to correct all of those inversions, and we can only do that by realizing what we are and who we are.
Very true. Geraldine, I'm going to get you to hold on right there as we are going to go to break at the top of the hour. When we come back, we're going to get into a little bit of alien experiences. Yes, bring on the aliens, because this is where we're going with Geraldine Orozco from the Spiritual You and BayAreaMeditation.com, based out of San Francisco, California, and GeraldineOrozco.com. Geraldine shows up once a month here, bringing her lovely looks and her incredible knowledge to this show called The Spiritual You. We'll be back with more Spaced Out Radio coming up right after this. There we go. I'm going to quickly run my dogs outside. I'll be right back, okay?
Great. Me too. Thank you.
The SOR Vault is open for business, and do we have some cool swag for you to pick up? All you have to do is head over to our website and click on the SOR Vault. You have a variety of cool logos to choose from, and put them on anything you want. T-shirts, hoodies, hats, coffee mugs, you name it, we can get it to you. So do your shopping by supporting the story you love. Get your Spaced Out Radio swag at the SOR Vault today.
We all know on Spaced Out Radio we love a good beard and mustache, so why not take care of your facial hair with Mighty Moose Beard Oil? Made in Canada, we're taking care of beards and stashes around the world. We use 100% natural ingredients with our oils and balms to make your whiskers feel silky smooth. Use promo code SOR2019 at MightyMooseBeard.com today.
We are scouring the world for the most intriguing stories of your day. Take the time to read up on the SOR Newswire, where our team, led by Captain Shirk, will deliver to you some of the best paranormal and supernatural news, along with some stories that will blow your mind from the weird to the wacky. It's the news outside the news that piques interest, and that's what we're looking to deliver to you. The SOR Newswire, only at spacedoutradio.com.
For the price of 1 cup of coffee a month, you can become an SOR Space Traveler. The Space Travelers Club is a place where you can interact with other listeners, either live during the show or on our great forum. We want your stories, pictures, comments, and ideas. You'll get live video streams, exclusive content, and be a part of our newsletter. Stay in touch with everything SOR. The Space Travelers Club is just $5 a month at spacedoutradio.com.
I'm feeling a little spicy tonight. What to do? What to do?
Why not get Bumblefuck?
4 million Scoville units of pure hard rock. Bumblefoot hot sauces come in 3 flavors. The burning Bumble. Tone it down a bit with Bumblicious and throw the sauce on everything.
Spice it up. Bumble me, baby. Bumblefoot hot sauce. Get it today at kajans.com.
Hi there, this is the paranormal lawyer Michael W. Hall. I'd like to invite you to listen in each Sunday night where we're going to open up your eyes to everything strange and paranormal. I will be hosting some great guests with topics that affect us all, such as UFOs, ghosts, and everything paranormal. Let's learn together on Spaced Out Radio Sunday with myself, Michael W. Hall, the paranormal lawyer at spacedoutradio.com.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
The party is always on at the Moose Vancouver. The Moose Vancouver is where you want to be when visiting Canada's West Coast. Open until 2 a.m. nightly, the Moose cranks up the rock while serving some of the best rated food in the city. The menu starts at $6.95. Why party anywhere else in Vancouver when the Moose is right there? Get your horns up and rock with the Moose, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Hi, this is Amber Beckrud, and I want to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel where we store all of the SOR show archives for free. And as an added bonus, every 2 weeks I'm posting brand new content on Cryptid Tales, where I will get into some of the spookier legends and folklore from around the world and tell the stories that go with them. Find us at youtube.com/spacedoutradio and check out Cryptid Tales today. Drop a comment and let me know what you want to hear. See you there.
Get your horns up with me on Spaced Out Radio.
Geraldine,
this is Ron
2
Bumble.
minutes. All right. Yes, I am in Western Canada. Corns, the booking guy, is in Texas. I've got a great beard. Corns has a great mustache. And we are rocking and rolling. Geraldine does not have a mustache. Just going to say that. No, I did not make any tea, Ronald. Geraldine, do you have your mute button on? Because we have like 1 minute.
I'm back. I'm here.
Cool. Were you doing your hair and makeup? Just be honest.
No. Did you go walk your dogs out?
I did. It's starting to rain. Hi, Andrew Fricker.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we got like 40 seconds. Geraldine does have beautiful hair, Chris Moe. Yes, she does. I've seen it up close and personal. Looks great when she uses a flat iron, too. Just going to put that out there.
Flat iron? I don't use a flat iron.
I know, but you have nice hair. That was me.
Thank you.
No, let's be honest. That was me with the flat iron. It was totally me with the flat iron.
That's what I was going to say, but I was just going to be nice and not mention
No,
that.
it was me. It was me. All right, here we go. Let's have a good second hour here.
Sightlines report.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with Dave Scott.
All right, music's
Follow
on.
Dave on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Facebook, Spaced Out Radio Show.
Thanks for tuning us in tonight on Spaced Out Radio. We're kicking off hour number 2. I am your host, Dave Scott. Appreciate each and every one of you tuning us in, especially those listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America and digitally on Revolution Radio and TalkStream Live. All of our archives are free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do old Davey the favor, hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. I don't even know how to pronounce this one, just to be honest. I really don't. Dolichocephalic. Dolichocephalic is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show. Tonight we talk with Geraldine Orozco from BayAreaMeditation.com, based out of San Francisco, California, where we talk everything from the spiritual side of life to extraterrestrial contact. Her website, GeraldineOrozco.com, as well, really gets in depth with this topic and these mediums that we are dealing with on a daily basis. Geraldine, welcome back.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, okay. Well, we're glad you're here. We are. Thank you for coming on in again.
Thank you.
All right, Geraldine, we're going to get right into it because, you know, the one thing that I have noticed over the past couple of months as we have watched the government really start to announce that they are looking into unidentified aerial phenomena. And I've been asking this question a lot recently to a lot of the experts that I know, Melinda Leslie, Lorian Fenton, Grant Cameron, just to name a few. And the one thing that is becoming a little worrisome for many people who've researched this field for decades is the fact that, in this whole new public persona of UFOs, UAPs, whatever you want to call them, we're not allowed to mention aliens. That's almost a taboo subject, which means if we can't mention aliens and that UFOs or UAPs have nothing to do with extraterrestrial phenomena, or whether or not any type of contact is real, that means the experiencers and those who have come out over the years and have been brave enough to share their stories publicly, and for the majority of those out there who have suffered through a lot of ridicule over the years because of this study, they don't know where to turn. They're almost like the forgotten souls of ufology. How do you feel about that?
Well, the question is, it's funny. Why would people not ask the question? Okay, if there are UFOs, who's driving those, UFOs? Who is behind the wheel in those UFOs? In other words, and that's one of the things that I find very interesting, that they want to try to omit that question. I mean, even when the government is trying to do research on UFOs, it seems like they step over that question. But I believe it's one of the most important questions, unless all of the crap that we're seeing here on Earth is reverse technology from our own government. So to me, I find it very amusing. I think that the question should be, and more time and effort should be focused on the research behind, the phenomena, the actual extraterrestrial research, the contact.
Is there a possibility that this entire subject may be pushed to the back burner once again, where, it's taboo to say that you've had ET contact, that you've been in contact with aliens, that you've been abducted? Because I think a lot of people are starting to feel that way when we're not allowed to technically suggest that aliens are here.
Well, a lot of time, a lot of effort, many years of conditioning and programming since the 50s, actually even before that, since the 40s, have gone into dismissing and ridiculing the term alien, or the concept that there are extraterrestrial life forms that are like humans. Of course, in history, we do have, some documentation about our very own government signing documents with the Greys in order to allow for abductions, right? There is that. So I think that a lot of time and a lot of effort has gone in since that time as well, with films, with media, with the entertainment industry, to try to ridicule this topic, the topic of ET contact, extraterrestrial contact, interdimensional contact. Any of these areas of knowledge, of information, of study of these kinds of contacts have now turned into something that is completely fantasy and even sci-fi. The whole concept of disclosure was even created by our own CIA for many reasons, right? The whole concept of conspiracy theories were created in order to completely ridicule these kinds of topics that are completely fringe and that are really hiding a tremendous amount of information that is available for us if we take the time to do the research. So I think that our focus has to go into listening and making space for experiencers that are having experiences, because they're the ones that are up front experiencing and having these kinds of ET contact. They also give us a lot of valuable information regarding contact through regression, through hypnosis. So it's really important that we pay attention to those, because it is one of the most valuable information that we can have.
Okay, so with that, when you look at everything that's going on, are we going to see more people kind of go backwards because we are not open-minded to it? We want the science, we want the hard facts, we want the data, we want what the military knows, what the government knows. And, John or Jane Smith, who have been abducted their entire lives, all of a sudden, because they have no proof or evidence outside of their own testimony, they are no longer considered credible, like Benny and Barney Hill were, like Travis Walton was.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and this is where we have to start changing the way that we, respond to these kinds of documentation of those experiences. We have to take more time to listen to them. People that have experiences share very unique things in common. Side effects that are non-physical, marks on the body, trauma that is a result of this contact. I mean, we can go on and on. There's lists of things that are very specific points of extraterrestrial and interdimensional contact. So I think the more that we allow ourselves to be open to the phenomena, and stop trying to put the phenomena into a little box of only UFOs or, the unidentified aerial, UAPs, in other words. I'm sorry, what is the acronym? That new acronym that they utilize?
UAP.
Yeah, UAP, right? So we have to go beyond that, because I feel like it's a deceptive illusion. It's deception to focus purely on that, but yet not question, not just the physics behind that and how we came across the physics of those kinds of aerial phenomena, but also, on the bigger picture, if it's not reverse engineer, then we're talking about an intelligence that's beyond our science. And that is something that if it were to go into mainstream, it would really, once again, restructure our entire belief system of everything. I mean, it would really put into question physics and how we live in our reality that we live in right now. So I think a lot of money and a lot of effort is put in by these systems in order to conceal a lot of this information. So once we're made aware of that, in my opinion, the next step is, okay, if that's happening, that means that maybe I need to put my focus on this other aspect, which is, okay, the experiencers, those that are actually claiming to experience it, what do they have to say? What are they experiencing? Some of these experiencers have information about science and physics and mathematical equations that we're barely coming into mainstream. Okay, there's a lot of new discoveries in physics and science that are just being put out to the public, to the general public. A lot of technology that's being put out into the general public. So, they're already talking about that, and they've been talking about it for years. These are things that have already existed for a very long time. So there's some very interesting information there that, it would be pretty naive to ignore and even ignorant to ignore.
How do we focus on the fact that this is happening through everything that we're going through right now? How do we bring it back to the fact that this is actually phenomena that's real?
Well, our mind is not able to differentiate fiction from reality from what is real and what is not real. Our brain functions in a way that it basically takes an emotion and experience, and if it believes that it's real, the entire body responds chemically and physically in the same way if it was a simulation or if it was an actual real event. So I think, once you kind of look at that, you can kind of stop yourself and be like, okay, well, where is my judgment coming from, or where do my beliefs come from? We can't really define what is reality at this point because we haven't known enough. Our science is very limited. Our technology is very limited. It's very behind. But what's interesting is that when we look up at the sky at one of these UFOs, we're looking at technology that puts into question all of our belief systems, all our education that we've, sat in classrooms and got diplomas and degrees on, because then it would put the entire paradigm of our reality into question. It would put religion, society, the political structure, it would put, science all into question by acknowledging the fact that technology transcends any understanding of physics, right? So when one of these kinds of things come into our physical plane, they have to adapt to the physics of our current space. So I think we need to look outside the picture. We can't solve a problem or find an answer to a problem with the same thinking we would have to recreate our thinking. We need to look at things from a different way. And this kind of phenomena is really an invitation to begin to look outside the box of what we see as reality. We are multidimensional beings. We know that because we have 5 senses, and those 5 senses, we actually have 6 senses, right? Our intuition as well is a sense that we have to learn to develop. When we learn that we have the ability of communicating and expressing with one another in more ways than one, we have a very physical, or should I say, a very experiential way of experiencing the non-physical. The human body is mostly non-physical. Only a very small percentage of the physical body is this physical little body that we live in, right? The rest of it, we communicate with one another, non-physical. I can sense emotions. You can intuitively pick up things about me. You can see things. You can even hear things that will give you communication that is non-physical. So, and it's also non-visual sometimes, right? So we become aware of our multidimensionality, and if we place that model to how we're looking at the things in the world around us, everything around us is also not just what we see at face value. So it's an invitation to go beyond this way of looking at reality from a very linear perspective. And, we question reality. We have to define reality now in a different way.
But what is reality? When it comes to having extraterrestrial contact, reality is thrown out the window the minute it happens. I mean, everybody who has experienced this phenomena, you, me, many, many others out there, we had our whole reality shift, Geraldine, when this happened. I look at the person I was before being in the forest with Samantha Mowat, staring at an extraterrestrial in the middle of the afternoon in the forest, and my life changed right there. I felt it change. And
right.
I don't know what my reality is. I mean, I should not be doing this show. I should be, literally watching NHL playoffs, trying to stay up to date on what every team is doing and what's happening there. I should be, worried about sharpening the blades on my lawnmower and wondering what I'm going to buy next because I'm just having way too much fun in life. And then reality changes.
Well, I mean, that's just the thing. That's why I was saying, I mean, our entire reality goes into question when we come into these topics. And the thing is, we don't know what's real. Even if you spend your entire life, studying every possibility, we're going to realize that there are many possible ways to look at something. There are many perspectives. You would have to study all of these perspectives, all of these possibilities in order to understand what is really real. Because even our science is not it's showing us what is, possible, but there is still so much we don't know. There's still so much we don't know about ourselves, about the world we live in. So it's a constant learning process. The thing is that what's stalling that learning? If we feel comfortable with what we know and we stay in that comfort zone, then like what we're experiencing, what we talked about earlier, when something comes in that causes great change, we're going to feel uncomfortable. And we're going to feel lost. We're going to feel scared. And sometimes we don't want to step outside the comfort zone. So it's the same as what we were talking about earlier. Like, we got to be able to embrace these different possibilities of what reality is, and kind of throw out the window a very linear way of looking at things. And we can simply do that by just taking a moment to listen to those that have experiences. Just taking a moment doesn't mean you have to believe it, but considering that you can listen to someone and taking their experience, respecting what they experience, and take for what it is, for what that experience is. You can learn a lot from that.
Geraldine Orozco and the Spiritual You, continuing here on Spaced Out Radio. We have about 4.5 minutes left before we have to go to break at the bottom of the hour. Geraldine, I just feel sorry for people in this field who have come out publicly about this. And yes, it is going to continue. Social media, one of the beautiful things it does provide is an avenue to always be able to speak what you want, when you want, how you want it. That being said, there are those who are becoming more and more critical. Those who have become critical of said experiences that people are having, why do you think they have turned on those who are claiming these extraordinary adventures?
It's an interesting question. My initial thought is that there's a lot of control. Okay, there's a lot of control in that. I think that it's a lot of these organizations are being controlled in terms of what they're willing to put their focus on, because it would move away from their narrative. Okay, and so what we need to question is be able to ourselves, the viewers, have to choose what we want to listen to, and not just follow along with what these major organizations or groups are trying to make you look at. There's a lot of agendas of distraction in the world that we live in today, and a lot of them want to pull you away from looking at the things that are really important, are really, really valuable. I mean, we've spent our entire lives in schools getting diplomas and degrees that are based on lies, on untruths, on things historically that weren't even real, that didn't really even happen sometimes, falsities, incomplete truths, inverted truths. So, this is the same. It's the same with this. Where are we placing our attention? Does it make sense to only look at one part of the phenomena, just UFOs, or just the aerial aspect of it? I mean, does it make sense to not question the physics behind that? Does it make sense to not listen to experiencers that have seen or been in craft like that can explain to you how it functions, even just by being, in that craft, someone that doesn't even have a degree in physics of any kind? So, we have to use our common sense when it comes to these things, and intuitively guide ourselves through information. If it feels off that you're only focusing on something that feels incomplete, then look at the bigger picture. Take the time to listen to the experiencer. Go to the conferences where there are experiencers sharing their story so you can learn about it. And if you are interested in that phenomena, if you're an experiencer, talk about your experience. We have to start, like in everything that's happening right now, change the paradigm of things. Me coming out and speaking about my story holds space for the woman down the street to come out with her story and feel safe, that she's not going to be ridiculed, because I'm going to support her. I'm going to say, I believe her. I believe her in her story, and it makes sense. And we begin, because right now, because it's been thrown out the window, we don't have any parameters of truth or of proof even. Nobody can tell me that my story was not true or that there is no proof, because my entire life was affected. I mean, I had miscarriages. I got pregnant when I wasn't partnered. I had side effects, physical, so many things that even until now are still happening in my life that have changed my life in such a profound way. Nobody can ever take that away from me, regardless of what they do or say. So that right there is a representation of me believing in myself and what I experienced, but also that clarity held space for you, the experiencer out there that's listening to this, that has the experience, that needs support, that needs help, and is looking for guidance. And that's where our attention should go, I think, in this phenomena. We should all collaborate and focus on that,
Well, I mean, so many questions in regards to that. We're going to have to continue this conversation with Geraldine Orozco when we get back after the break, because this is just getting a little too heavy. And we got to break this down a little bit more, talking about ET contact, those who have experienced the ultimate phenomena. Is it real? Are we allowed to say it's real? Are people now going to go back into the shadows because we're not allowed to say aliens with UFOs anymore? Yes, it's true. GeraldineOrozco.com is Geraldine's website, as well as BayAreaMeditation.com. The Spiritual You continues on Spaced Out Radio right after this. Beautifully said, by the way. Beautifully said.
Awesome. Great. Yeah, it's an important question. Thanks for asking that, Dave.
Oh, that's what I do, right? That's
what you do. You just ask those killer questions.
I'm a journalist. I'm a professional.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
Oh, you're too kind. You are too kind to me. I don't know what I do to deserve this. Mm-hmm. So what else is new down there?
What else is new down here? We are, there is, schools have, some schools have closed again, but I don't know. It feels like things are coming back to normal a little bit down here. It seems like is it getting worse up there, Dave, or what's happening?
Up here, the kids don't start school until September 10th.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So, yeah. But the good news is I got my son registered for hockey yesterday.
Oh, fabulous.
Yes.
Fabulous.
Yes. And so this is usually the time of year when I start roughing him up a little bit, beating him up, giving him a few shots, and body checking him into the drywall, because we got to make sure that he's ready and balanced and getting ready to go here.
That's awesome. Oh my God, your poor son. Well, he's going to be one strong son.
Oh yeah.
I'll tell you that.
Yeah, that's all right. It's good for him. It's good for him. Rough him up a little bit. The other day he picked out his new hockey stick. So the first thing I did was I hit him with it.
Oh my gosh, Dave.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I cross-checked him. Grabbed a hold of the stick, cross-checked him in the back. He's like, "Daddy, what are you doing?" I'm like, "Toughen up. Oh. You got hockey season. Toughen up.
Oh my God.
Take it." I just looked down.
I'd offer him free therapy, but maybe your fathering is going to be wonderful therapy overall.
I looked at him. And I said, "What? You want to go?" I said, "Let's go." We're right in the middle of the Canadian Tire. Right in the middle of Canadian Tire. I looked at him. "Let's go. Let's do this."
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I love it.
Oh yeah,
that's great.
That's how we do it up here. Nobody.
Have you guys been? Well, I'm so glad they're going to be going back to school. And what about fires? Have there been any fires up there?
South of us, couple hours, about 4 hours south. Oh. We didn't get hit at all this year. Didn't get hit at all, which is nice.
So glad. Yeah, that's so great. Over here, we got hit really, really bad. Actually, today, the skies were pretty bad as well. 60,000 people got displaced down here.
Yeah.
So that's pretty bad. But tomorrow, we're going to be hosting a meditation live on my Facebook for it. If anybody wants to join, we're just going to do a kind of prayer healing circle for anyone that was displaced, and also animals, any animals that got affected at the time. It's kind of sad, but again, it's those cycles of life and rebirth, I guess, that we have to deal with right now.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
All right, we've got 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Yeah, I'm pretty excited. Get back in the hockey rink with him. I'm the type of parent, I just watch. And when my kid goofs around and the coach looks at me, I just tell him, go kick him in the ass. That's what it's all about. This hockey. This isn't playtime. It's hockey.
You're an awesome dad, I have to tell you.
Oh, yeah.
That's just amazing, Dad, Dave.
Yeah, you're rolling your eyes at me right now saying, oh, my God, I cannot believe you cross-checked your son with a hockey stick. Damn rights I did. Damn rights I did. We fought. He broke my nose the other day. Did I tell you this? No, I didn't. I hadn't talked to you.
No, you didn't.
About 2 weeks ago. About 2 weeks ago, he broke my nose.
Oh my gosh, what happened? It doesn't look like he broke it. Is your nose okay?
My septum is broken. My septum.
Oh my.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
Well,
it's payback, Dave.
I'm not gonna lie. I was showing him how to fight in hockey. Okay. I was showing him how to fight, and toughen him up a little bit. And so we were having turned into a big wrestling match, and he brought his foot down as I was bringing my nose up, and he just cracked it right on the back of his heel, and I was just like, okay, it's over. I tap out. You broke my nose, kiddo. You hurt me. And he laughed. I laughed. I was in tears because you automatically get the old watery eyes. And but you know what? Nobody hurt. Everything's good. Good Canadian kids going at it, having some fun. Nobody got hurt. That's the main thing.
Oh my goodness.
Yes. So I just went in the bathroom and straightened out my nose and came out. Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah, it happens.
I'm sorry that happened, Dave, but
whatever.
Yeah.
It happens. All right, we got music on. We passed the halfway point of Spaced Out Radio tonight. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. Thank you so much for joining us. We really want to appreciate all of you tuning us in. I want to remind you that if you have checked out our archives, guess what? They're free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website, spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show. Geraldine Orozco is here for the Spiritual You. She comes in once a month to break everything down, Zen, Chi, and everything with extraterrestrials in between. We throw them in like hot sauce because it's fun to get into the ET side of things. Geraldine's website, GeraldineOrozco.com and BayAreaMeditation.com. The Spiritual You continues. Geraldine, welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you again.
Not a problem. Not a problem. I know there's a few questions here that we want to get to. Mark is asking, and we're going to continue with the ET talk here in a minute, but Mark is asking, Geraldine, do you have MyLab experiences?
Yes, I do. And the MyLab experience has happened to me after I started going to and attending conferences, actually. One of the most incredible experiences was when I was in Colorado, and I was taken into an underground base from a conference with 2 other speakers that were speaking with me. And I was taken in something like a white van into the field in Colorado, middle of nowhere, taken 54 floors underground. And so it was a very traumatizing experience at that time. But as a result of this experience, they took me and one other of my colleagues, further 8 floors down into this kind of a clinical space where they undressed me and inserted into my back a kind of like a spinal tap, per se. They removed some kind of genetic material from my spine. And yes, it was very, very difficult. I mean, it took me months to recover from that. But this is also how I became aware of the government side of contact and the fact that they are carrying out different kinds of programs that are separate from extraterrestrials, perhaps, in a sense, that are also cloning programs that they utilize our genetic material. And they also have very similar technology to extraterrestrials, not as advanced, but very similar, which is why I talk about reverse technology.
Okay, next question. Oh, we got some feedback there for a second. Okay, where are we here? Poetically Mistaken, otherwise known as Devin, he is asking, what is an exercise recommended for developing clairaudience?
Clairaudience is just one of our many senses that we have, and it starts with your intuition. So in order to activate your clairaudience, what you're hearing, it's connected to your ears, which is then connected to the pineal gland and the pituitary gland in the brain, and also the thymus. Those 3 main organs are the ones that are going to be activated when you begin to tap into this hearing ability. And also you're working with your throat chakra, your third eye, and what you're trying to develop is you're heightening and opening and activating your intuitive abilities, and you can do that through meditation, clearing the blockages from throat chakra and third eye chakra. And a lot of the audience, the clairaudience, develops in the 3rd layer of your auric field. So any kind of blockages that you have in the 3rd layer of your auric field, which is the solar plexus, the emotional body, it extends out to the 3rd layer. So basically you want to work on any kind of blockages that you have in self-empowerment, integrating any anger programs. If you still have a lot of anger within you because of abuse or any kind of trauma in childhood, or just in general some anger that has been unresolved, I would suggest working with those aspects first. And as long as you create some balance with those anger programs, you can begin to dissolve any blockages that are here within the throat and the ears area. Okay. The next part is balancing communication. The ears are your sound frequency. It's like a radio wave, right? It's an antenna that is receiving radio waves, different frequencies that you are processing through the ears vibrationally. So you have to become sensitive and begin to get to know how you specifically process different vibrational frequencies. My suggestion is that you cut any kind of artificial emissions of the frequency, for example, like television or radio, so that you can start to detox from any kind of artificially created frequencies and start to tap into your own intuitive system, so you can tap into higher levels of information, okay, higher frequencies, which are not just like radio waves, for example. They are much higher. We begin to activate this part of the body. So the throat chakra, once it clears out all of these communication programs, any kind of imbalances in expression, any parts of you that feel afraid of speaking and expressing yourself fluidly without fears, those programs have to go as well. Okay, and that's how you start to develop these parts of yourself. Finally, your intuitive self, your third eye. I suggest doing meditations to clear your chakras and work actively in the chakras. The chakras can be cleaned by spinning them in the healthy perspective directions in which they flow. It's going to be different for everyone, and sometimes our chakras are blocked and they're not spinning properly. So take time to clear them, move through them constantly. And in your healing meditation, you can find a lot of those videos on my YouTube channel, where you can learn how to clear your chakras and begin to activate those parts of you. So there's a lot of inner work in there that you need to do to begin to develop, but it can be done. And the more you tap into your higher self and you begin to embody your intuitive self, you can train yourself daily by the moment you get up in the morning and start making all of your choices based on intuition. If you can challenge yourself to do that, in 30 days, you can really begin to activate and develop a lot of more advanced intuitive abilities. So those are just some really quick tools that I want to share with you guys.
Well, that's good. Thank you so much. Geraldine Orozco is our guest tonight on Spaced Out Radio. Now, right before the break, we were talking a lot about experiences. You're an experiencer, as you just mentioned, your MyLab experience that you have had. You've run into and met many people throughout this field, and both who are talking on the conference and radio circuits, those who are just timid and really don't want to talk about it, but just need to know that there's someone else out there who has been having those same experiences as well. Now, when you go through this and you meet people and, you hear all sorts of stories, including your own, have you ever run into just a stranger out of the blue where all of a sudden you recognize them because they were part of one of your examinations or one of your MyLab experiences, or you saw them on Craft? Have you ever had that coincidence happen?
Absolutely. It's happened to me a couple times. One of the first times that's happened to me was when I went to the support group here in Sonoma, the Sonoma MUFON group. And the very first time that I was speaking about my experience in public, this gentleman came in, very tall gentleman that I immediately recognized from the Craft. And when I saw him, I was paralyzed because I was new to the whole thing, a few years ago. 3 years ago, in 2017, I think was the first time I attended one of these support groups. And, it was, immediately I was paralyzed when I saw him because I thought, oh, wow, this man was there. And when you have triggers like this in your memory, in your mind, a lot of memories will begin to surface. That's the interesting thing about support groups, is that even when you hear someone tell a story or tell their experience, begin to describe their experience, when you begin to recognize or hear things that you've experienced as well, it takes you back to that moment and it unlocks other memories, and you begin to kind of almost remote view your own personal experiences. So when I saw him, it triggered immediately memories of being in a room where we were all lined up. We were dressed, but there were metallic tables in a room, a very, very large room in a kind of oval type shape room, a lenticular shape room, I should say, kind of like a domed ceiling that was transparent. You can see through to the other side, and a lot of light on the lower floors. And this gentleman was there standing next to me in what looked like scrubs, almost like a very light blue kind of scrubs. And he was one of the person that I was made to go into a room with select 5 other people, and we were shown some kind of imagery. We were shown imagery, and so what the interesting thing about this is that when I approached him about it, I told him he did remember having dreams in a similar space. He was not recalling consciously activity, but he remembered through dreams. So it's very interesting to have that. Another experience is by meeting someone in person, and actually he's a known experiencer, and that night I experienced seeing him on craft. So that was also very, very surprising to experience. I was abducted that night from a hotel, and this is an extraterrestrial experience, and he was there. He was there, a person that I saw earlier. So yes, it does happen, Dave.
Do you know when you're going to be taken?
Yes, I do. I know the day of, and I can decide whether I want to continue with that or not. Now I can. Yeah.
Is it the same beings that take you each time?
No, different beings. Some of them are, malevolent. Now, more frequently, there is more benevolent kind of beings that are interacting with me more recently. And again, I think it has to do with your vibrational frequency. Okay, so you can change these things. I'm actually going to be publishing a course on my website pretty soon about how to create protective techniques and breaking contractual agreements with experiencers, with extraterrestrials, or any kind of entities that are interacting with you. You can change what you're experiencing with them. And it took me a long time to learn this, but it can definitely be done.
Okay. So with the fact that you have multiple species taking you at any time, what's the triggers? Like, I know for Samantha Mowat, she sees blue butterflies within a couple of days of her going for a ride. Okay. Myself, my trigger is the song from Pink Floyd, The Walls, Is There Anybody Out There? Won't stop playing in my head.
That's amazing. Wow, that's so interesting. I haven't had something like that, but I'll tell you what does come up. An owl. An owl will show up and will start making noises, and I realized that, okay, because I wasn't paying attention to the owl sign until I started having the contact experience, and then I started to realize that every time I had the owl sound outside my house, and I live in a very suburban area. Okay, these are all these homes, and we live close to a creek, but owls don't usually come into our neighborhoods, which there aren't that many trees. So the other night, for example, there was an owl that sat outside of my window, literally, and started to make his little sounds. And I knew immediately that it would happen. But even before that, throughout the day, I begin to feel strange, which is much more of a clear signal for me. I start getting several frequency changes in my ear. Pressure will be changing in the room. I will have a tremendous ringing in my ear, and I get really, really tired early on in the night. So I have to go to sleep a lot earlier. And it's like sometimes I resist it, obviously, and other times I get taken out like a light. And the next morning I'll wake up and I'll say, wow, I slept so deeply. I didn't have any dreams. If I get taken without conscious awareness, I have no dreams at all. Otherwise, I dream every night. And I remember my dreams very vividly. If I have conscious experience, then I know I'm fully present there, and I can decide whether I want to continue experiencing or not continue experiencing. So those are a couple of things that,
Do you ever get frustrated that when they do take you, Geraldine, that you're never awake? You're never conscious?
Do I get frustrated that I'm never conscious or awake?
Yeah, see, like, I'll be honest with you. I get a little upset and uptight that at times, and I haven't been taken often that I know of, All right. But when I do go for a ride, I want to go in a situation like I am right now. I'm wide awake. Okay. I want Carl or any type of Arcturian or Alabaster or whatever the hell they're called to come right here, right in the studio, or not right in the studio, because I don't think they'd be able to park a ship in here. But, right outside the studio or something, have a little knock on the window and say, hey, let's go for a ride. I want that conscious understanding of what is going on. Okay, I'm tired of it, and like most experiencers, tired of it happening in the middle of the night when you've gone to sleep, your body's relaxed, and then all of a sudden the dreams become very vivid. Tired of that. Mm-hmm. Don't like it. Don't like it a bit.
What I realized on my journey is that, and this is personal, it could be different for everyone, of course, but I feel like if you practice awareness in your everyday waking life, your contact experience will also be very vivid, very aware. And now I can choose whether I want to be conscious or not in my contact. So I think it's something that we need to train, Dave, as experiencers. And I know, I think that we have the ability of taking control of our experiences and choosing if we want to be conscious or not. Sometimes maybe these experiences, context experience, are more healing experiences. And maybe a lot of times are what's happening interdimensionally when we enter the astral planes, which is when the body can sometimes have more healing. That's when we are most vulnerable for this kind of extraterrestrial and interdimensional interactions. So that can be trained, Dave. We can train to be more conscious in these kinds of experiences. You have to practice lucid dreaming, practice meditation, practice coming into conscious awareness at all times, I think.
Okay. I don't know if that's true or not, because I haven't gone. When's the last time you went, like you are right now? You're talking to us, or you're just wide awake, maybe watching, reruns of I don't know, Matlock or something, whatever you do. All right. And all of a sudden the aliens arrive and they're like, hey, Geraldine, walk down to the street lamp over here. We're going to quickly beam you up. Have you ever had something like that happen? And I'm not saying that to make fun of you. I'm dead serious about asking you.
No, I don't. Yeah, no, I don't take it as a joke. I agree. And it's happened to me. The last time that it happened to me was last year at a conference in, what is that, Pasadena? Not Pasadena. A little bit north of Los Angeles. I was at a conference, and it was that night that I saw another experiencer. I just left a small gathering with other experiencers, and that night, immediately as I'm about to close my eyes, there you go. I'm completely paralyzed, taken into that experience. My eyes are wide open. I'm interdimensionally in the craft, and basically I broke the contract because I didn't want to participate, but I was conscious throughout the entire time. And it was a very vivid experience. Yeah. So that was the last time.
I'm jealous.
You're jealous. Oh, no, Dave. Come on now. I think we've gotten to this point where we're like, we already know what's going on.
I know, but there's a lot of aliens them bad guys that I haven't fought yet, or there's not
okay.
Because I remember hitting the one, but there's also a lot of situations where I want to see what's going on. I want to fly the craft, to be absolutely blunt. I want to fly the craft. That's what I want.
Yeah.
I don't think it's too much to ask. Gone through a lot of this now. Getting real tired of hearing about all these people who get to fly the craft, to go wherever they want. Not old Davy. Nope. I'm jealous. Totally jealous, Geraldine.
I'm sure you will manifest it, Dave. If you really want it, it's going to happen. I believe you. I believe it will.
I do manifest it. I have a beautiful landing pad about 150 yards from my house. Beautiful landing pad. They just got to come down. It's a big parking lot. Nobody will see them come down. You know, extinguish the lights that light up the parking lot. I live in a town of 1,100. There's only about maybe 60 people in the area that could see this landing pad, if that.
Wow. That's amazing. Well, how do you go out there and summon some ships? Maybe you need to get out there and summon some ships.
Well, I used to be able to do that. You know, I used to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Not anymore. Ever since I was cursed, I haven't been able to do that.
All right. Well, maybe you're in phase 2. Now your job is to get the information out there, Dave, and you're doing a great job doing that. So
yes.
I think they're thanking you from above.
Yeah, that's another bone to pick with them, but that's another story. They haven't seen my paycheck off of this yet. Oh, and trust me, I'm telling you right now, I want their human resources manager named Caralian, right? Caralian, where are you? We have to have a talk. I'm all over it. I am all over it. It's true. Geraldine, I wouldn't make this up.
No, I believe you.
That was said very, very suspiciously. Very suspiciously. But I'll take it. I will take it. We've only got about 30 seconds left. And you only have to put up with me for about another half an hour. You're okay with that, right?
Oh, I love being on this show. It's an honor to be here. And shout out to all our listeners.
You're way, way too kind. Way too kind. Geraldine Orozco's The Spiritual You happens at the beginning of each month, where we get set up for our Zen and our Chi. I don't know where we're going the next half hour, but it's going to be a lot of fun as we have Geraldine for another 30 minutes, and then we are going to join Vancouver, talk with Shane at The Shift, going right across Canada. Going to talk some UFO stories. Remember that story that I had where I emailed a bunch of members of Parliament here in Canada? I got a response today. Yes, I did. I got a response. That's coming up all in hour 3 of Spaced Out Radio next. I got a response. Yes, I did.
Wow, Dave, can't wait to hear that.
Oh, well, you're going to have to wait. You're going to have to tune us in afterwards on the YouTube channel and all, because I'm holding that one secret. Holding that one secret. Captain Shirk, who does my news, is going to kick my ass for that, but I'm okay with it. I'm okay. I'm building up the hype. I'll be right back. I'm just going to run my dogs outside, okay?
Great.
Donor dollars go directly toward life-improving items. Then we give those items directly to an underdog who needs it most. To become a donor with Spaced Out Radio's official charity, Chive Charities, just go to chivecharities.org/donate.
We all know on Spaced Out Radio we love a good beard and mustache, so why not take care of your facial hair with Mighty Moose Beard Oil? Made in Canada, we're taking care of beards and stashes around the world. We use 100% natural ingredients with our oils and balms to make your whiskers feel silky smooth. Use promo code SOR2019 at MightyMooseBeard.com today.
Hello, space travelers. It's me again, Carl. Don't forget to join the Space Travelers Club for just $5 a month and follow Spaced Out Radio on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio. Our Instagram, Dave Scott SOR. Our Facebook page is Spaced Out Radio Show. Our archives are free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Come woo it up with Spaced Out Radio today. Bye!
Looking for creative ways to get your company out in the public? How about advertising on Spaced Out Radio? Our sales department is waiting to hear from you, and we can work around any budget. From commercial spots to banners to special promotions, there are many opportunities to get your name and product out to our SOR listeners. For a price guide and more information, please contact us at sales@spacedoutradio.com.
Hi there, this is the paranormal lawyer Michael W. Hall. I'd like to invite you to listen in each Sunday night where we're going to open up your eyes to everything strange and paranormal. I will be hosting some great guests with topics that affect us all, such as UFOs, ghosts, and everything paranormal. Let's learn together on Spaced Out Radio Sunday with myself, Michael W. Hall, the paranormal lawyer at spacedoutradio.com.
Hello, this is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot Thal, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know Little Brother is watching.
We are scouring the world for the most intriguing stories of your day. Take the time to read up on the SOR Newswire, where our team, led by Captain Shirk, will deliver to you some of the best paranormal and supernatural news, along with some stories that will blow your mind from the weird to the wacky. It's the news outside the news that piques interest, and that's what we're looking to deliver to you. The SOR Newswire, only at spacedoutradio.com.
I'm feeling a little spicy tonight. What to do? What to do?
Why not get Bumblefuck?
4 million Scoville units of pure hard rock. Bumblefoot hot sauces come in 3 flavors. The burning Bumble. Tone it down a bit with Bumblicious and throw the sauce on everything.
Spice it up. Bumble me, baby. Bumblefoot hot sauce. Get it today at kajans.com.
We're adding to the entertainment online for Spaced Out Radio. I'm Amber Beckard, and I want to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out Cryptid Tales, where I will take you on a journey into some of the strangest legends and lore from around the world, relaying the stories to you of the strange creatures and experiences that people have had throughout time. You can find Cryptid Tales at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. And while you're there, don't forget to check out our free archives and leave a comment. See you there. The SOR Vault is open for business, and do we have some cool swag for you to pick up? All you have to do is head over to our website and click on the SOR Vault.
2 minutes. "90 seconds, Geraldine."
I'm here. I'm back now.
Me too.
Okay.
Me too.
Ready to go.
I am so thirsty tonight.
What are you drinking?
Water.
Wow, look at you.
You know what? One of the guys at work the other day bought me a Pepsi. So I actually opened it up. I drank half of it and I was just disgusted by it. Disgusted.
Wow.
I dumped the rest out.
Oh my gosh, you are so amazing. Look at you. Can you imagine 2 years ago would you be saying that?
4 months today, I am Pepsi free.
Wow. Incredible.
Yeah. Well,
congratulations.
Except for that one little. I figured I would try it. I didn't like it.
Yeah.
Didn't like it.
Yeah.
So I know you're proud of that. Me too.
I am, Dave. More importantly, your body's gonna thank you.
Yes.
You know, that's the most important. They put way too much sugar in that stuff. It's just not good for you.
I know.
But lots of people like it. No judgment for those that like it.
All right, we got music on. Hour 3 kicking off here.
For all your latest show info. Now, back to Dave Scott and SOR.
Thank you, Bob. Welcome back to Spaced Out Radio, everyone. I am your host, Dave Scott. We appreciate you all tuning us on in. Hi to everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America and digitally on TalkStream Live and Revolution Radio. All of our archives are free for you at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do old Davey the favor, hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Dolichocephalic. Dolichocephalic is your password. I figured if I said it fast, I'd get it right, as the Clam says the password each and every night, right here on Spaced Out Radio. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show. Geraldine Orozco's The Spiritual You happens near the beginning of each month, and we got Geraldine on here until the bottom of the hour, where we're going to have some fun discussing everything that is weird and strange, because Geraldine is a brilliant mind with brilliant thoughts on how to deal with everything from consciousness right through to ET contact. Her website is GeraldineOrozco.com. Her business website is BayAreaMeditation.com, based out of San Francisco, California. Geraldine, thank you so much for coming on once again.
Thank you, as always. An honor to be here. So much fun.
What can we do to break that contract with extraterrestrials? You've mentioned that on numerous shows, and I've always forgot to ask you that. How do you break the contract?
So in order to understand that, we have to understand how we create the experiences of contact with interdimensional beings or extraterrestrials. Ultimately, we believe that we're experiencing a very physical experience. And the thing with this kind of contact experience, and in order to connect with interdimensional beings, ourselves, we are entering into a plane, a dimension of reality that's not physical, right? So these extraterrestrial beings are interdimensional, meaning that they are not in this physical body. They vibrate. They are at a frequency vibrationally that allows them, in order in physics, to travel the way that they do, to be able to manifest themselves, to move, to shift, and to even be on craft. Their physical attributes have to be completely different in order to be able to sustain that kind of travel and that kind of interaction. But let's go beyond that. That explanation is for us that need to see things in the physical, in the material realm. So what does it mean when we have this interdimensional contact? We are entering into another dimension, which means that, in a sense, we are collaborating from the subconscious mind, creating some of this experience. When we create an experience, even here in the physical, me, you, all of you listeners that are here on this show, we are holographically projecting this experience together. And your thoughts, believe it or not, shift and change the way this experience is being experienced for you and also for me. So in that same way, the way we're interacting with consciousness is also the way that we interact with these interdimensional beings. We are tied together. We are one organism of consciousness. Me and you, the physical humans that are here, but also these interdimensional beings are another level of consciousness that are also interconnected with us in the whole, in the bigger picture. So we create agreements, per se, contracts. What are contracts? They are exchanges of information. That's all that it means. So when we have these exchanges of information, we are agreeing to experience certain things with one another. I exchange with you, and you therefore have a certain experience that is created by what I share with you. With these extraterrestrials, we made an exchange. We exchanged something in order to agree to participate in the hybridization program, in order to be abducted. And some of these agreements were made at times where we may not have been 100% conscious and 100% at a level where we were in a state of full discernment. Okay? Why do I say that? In order to understand that, you got to understand the abduction phenomena on the highest level, which means what is occurring when we are being abducted. A lot of times experiencers, they experience that they are being experimented on for their physical parts, or they are part of the hybridization program for their genetic material. And some don't recall their experience, but I believe that the majority of experiencers are utilized for their genetic material in one way or another. And the genetic material that is valuable is the DNA, which is a massive storage system of information. Okay, DNA is holographic in a sense that it has the ability of storing physical and non-physical information, okay? So this is what makes the human body so magnificently valuable. And so when we are taken, okay, when we are abducted and we are taken for our genetic material, we're being utilized for these procreation programs or hybridization or cloning programs. So in that same way, the human is experiencing these things. So we have made those agreements at times where we were not as conscious. So in this life now, let's say you are born and you're a lifelong experiencer since the age of 5. The question is, how can we agree to be abducted at such a young age without our knowing? Well, the fact is that we made the agreement. And we made the agreement to experience that, right? But not during the time, not during this physical body. We made the agreement at another time, when maybe before we incarnated into the body, or maybe another life. It is kind of shows us how these cycles of life are, how the soul is moving in and out of the physical body. So these contractual agreements are agreements that can be therefore dissolved now that you come into awareness of your contact experience, which I believe has a lot to do with your spiritual development as a soul overall. I think when you have conscious experience, you're entering a very heightened state of vibrational frequency, because it's a match for that vibrational frequency in order for you to remember, to recall that. When you're in a very low state of frequency, a lot of times you absolutely will not remember your contact experience. So this means that based on your consciousness, on your awareness, you can have a choice, because we are all, even though we are one organism, we are experiencing all possibilities, but from the perspective of free will, that we have a choice to experience all of the ranges of this polarity, this possibility of polarity and creation in this physical plane that we live in. So we can change those. We can change how we experience. If we no longer want to have these abduction experiences, we can break those contracts, we can dissolve them, and embody our sovereignty, in other words, or we can utilize our free will to decide, I no longer want to participate in your experimentation or in your genetic program or agenda that you have. And this is true for all living organisms that we interact with, interdimensional, extraterrestrial, and human beings. We can work on our contracts. All of the relationships that we have in life, physical and non-physical, have contracts. Me and you, all of you listeners, we have contracts here. We have agreed to be sharing this time right now for a reason. If I trigger you somehow with something I say, it's a contract. If you trigger me with something you say, it's a contract. I'm here to respond to that in a certain way, to learn something through that experience. So this is how contact also is carried out. So it can be very complex, but you can also simplify that. Okay? Yeah.
Okay. So as we are carrying out these contracts that we made previous to incarnating here, do those contracts follow us to a next lifetime? Because that would then suggest that reincarnation continually happens.
Right, and that's exactly right. But the thing is this. Here's the thing. We look at time as being linear, and that's the problem. That's where all of these concepts no longer make sense, because we think things are in the past. We think that in the past we have to, leave this body in hypnosis regression and go back to the time where we were Cleopatra in Egypt or something like this. But in reality, what we're experiencing, what's made visible to us through things like hypnosis and meditation is we are accessing other aspects of our own self. Time is not linear. It's more like an orb. It's more like a sphere. And whatever part of that sphere, imagine little dots, a sphere that's made out of little dots, okay? All dots that are creating this sphere. Whatever dot in that sphere is aware of itself is the one that's experiencing the present moment. However, you have the ability to bring in or to experience other aspects of yourself within that sphere of yourself, of your whole expression. So, for example, if I tap into information through hypnosis of myself at a time when I was in Egypt, it's not that I'm just recalling memory that is programmed in the DNA. That's one part of it, right? But I'm also able to experience, I can even change the past experience. I can change my perception. I can even heal from disease, for example, that has been passing down ancestrally through my family through that regressive hypnosis. Because time is not linear. It's everything that is happening in the now. We are just accessing those parts of ourselves through those hypnosis regressions or through meditation. We have the ability in this moment to pull from other aspects of ourselves. And in the whole realm of what we are, because we're so interconnected, there are parts of us that are extraterrestrial. There are the archetypal fragments of ourselves, because we all have experienced, ranges of identity, which are all archetypes that we all have the opportunity to experience. We've all experienced those aspects of ourselves, and we're continuously experiencing them throughout our life. Even in one conversation or interaction, we can touch upon different aspects of ourselves that can embody certain consciousness, right? So this is how we need to look at these experiences. It's not that we are living and dying in a reincarnation cycle that's a linear timeline. Everything is happening in this present moment. With this moment, if I die, my physical body will die, but my soul will continue to experience. It doesn't die. Another aspect of itself might become aware. That's where my consciousness will now travel to. And that's what it is. It's just this entire living organism that's more like a sphere than rather than a linear timeline. So that's how we can explain that these things are experienced, more in the physical.
Kira is asking, is there any chance they are here to help advance the DNA of every human?
Has what, Dave? What was your question?
Kira is asking, is there any chance they are here to help advance our DNA, saving us from ourselves?
That's a very interesting question. I think that we are here to help ourselves advance our DNA. I think that our awareness of them makes us aware of our ability and the technology that is available through us as humans to create and access that information in order to move forward and heal and transcend. I think that our ability to be able to look behind the veils of what's non-physical to these interdimensional beings is just one part of reality. And the fact that we have the ability to tap into other consciousness allows us to pull from that consciousness. We in our history, we've had many incredible geniuses, or these incredible, savants that have come into our historical timeline. And we have children that are highly advanced, that we call hybrid children, that have knowledge of technology that far transcends our knowledge of mathematics and physics now. How did they come across that information? These are advanced souls. They have other aspects of their DNA activated within them. They are utilizing more of their processing system in the brain so that they can access information that's not yet available to the majority, to the population of our human race. So I believe that within you, within your body, you have the entire universe. You have access to all that information. We have to be able to go deep dive and reconnect with ourselves and our information. And once we enter that space, we have the ability to access all kinds of things that we never thought were possible. That's how historically humans have been accessing information and pulling our evolution forward. There's many of those people that have led and guided us into knowledge that way.
Geraldine Orozco is here for the Spiritual You. We got about just over 6 minutes left with you tonight, Geraldine, and we're going to continue on with learning about who we are, what we're all about. I mentioned reincarnation just a little bit ago. If you believe that we are here and reincarnating to try and bring ourselves to a higher spiritual level, how many lifetimes does it actually take? Have you been able to find out or study information on the reincarnation?
Absolutely. And I don't believe in the reincarnation the way that we think of it traditionally, because the way that we believe reincarnation is, there's many different schools of belief that look at reincarnation in different ways. Okay, if you really get down to the details of it, the way I look at reincarnation, I don't think that we are living and dying in order to create evolution. I think that we are infinite consciousness experiencing all possibility through this temporary physical experience, which is what, maybe 100 years of this physical body that you're in. As long as you're inhabiting this physical body with the genetic setup that you have, with your lineage, your ancestral connections, all your experiences in your life, this design of your life right now is a very temporary, short period of time you're experiencing. And the human soul is not incomplete in any way. It is purely experiencing all possibilities. Our concept of being incomplete or not being whole or not being evolved is designed for us for this temporary human experience. And when you leave the physical body, because we're applying to the laws of physics and reality in this dimension, okay? But when you leave the physical body, and even when you go into higher altered states of consciousness, you realize that you have ability to tap into a lot of infinite consciousness and information that is available to you. I know that because I've reached those levels in my own meditation. I've been able to access information that I never read books on, I never studied, I never even considered. I was able to tap into information about our human body, about how it functions. I was able to see beyond, a lot of this understanding of physics and the soul and how it works. So this is where I speak from. I speak from that experience. And if you look at historically, a lot of these people that have experienced those levels of understanding, those are people that have, they've studied themselves. This is self-mastery. We have access to that information through our own minds. We don't need to look outside of ourselves. So going back to your question about reincarnation, it's not that we are, trying to evolve consciousness by living and dying it multiple times. I believe that our soul is stuck. It becomes stuck. It becomes attached with contracts and cords energetically because of the choices that we make in our lifetime to choose to experience things from a very limited perspective. And if you're living your life right now where you are stuck in the feeling body and all you want to do is be angry or be frustrated or feel helpless or feel pleasure, for example, you are creating constant contracts and constant energetic ties to those same experiences. So you're very much in the physical body. That if you die right now, you are a vibrational frequency that's a match to come back into that. Okay. Right. If you are a person that is evolving past that and you are experiencing the higher levels, you're a match to that. And so that will change the trajectory of what you experience. So that's really what the reincarnation cycle is. So you can choose to be stuck and continue to come back into the feeling body, or you can choose to experience other levels. And that's what I think the soul has to train to do. It becomes infinite, and it can experience all possibility at that point.
Wow. That's tough to believe. I'm going to buy what you say because I know you're not someone who's a BSer. But that is tough to believe. You know, I mean, that goes against every grain of ideology that we have been taught the majority of our lives.
That's exactly right, Dave. And, and everybody has to find their truth their own way. Take some time, meditate, explore this altered reality and see what you come up with. You know, this is experiences that I've discovered through my journey. And I think there's a lot of schools that thought that they test these grounds, you know, they look at these things. But yeah.
Geraldine, what's up next for you coming on up here?
Great. Well, what's next? Tomorrow, I'd love to invite everyone to join me on a live, a lot of people, 60,000 people have been displaced with these fires, and a lot of living organisms, living beings have been affected. So I want to invite you guys to join me live to hold space, bringing healing energy into nature and these living beings. If you would like to join me tomorrow at 5:30 p.m. PST on Facebook Live and also YouTube, join me. I'll be joined with a couple of incredible healers here in the Bay Area. And I'm going to post on my Facebook tonight, everyone that's going to be joining us. I would love for you guys to see us there. Also, I will be speaking at the Higher Self Expo. You can check out and register at thehigherselfexpo.com. And I will be doing some amazing collaborations with
wonderful.
What am I doing? Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm going to post on my Facebook page. You guys can see all my upcoming events. I can't remember everything right now. Thank you so much, guys. It's been an honor.
We love you, Geraldine. GeraldineOrozco.com is her website. BayAreaMeditation.com, The Spiritual You. We'll have Geraldine back here next month. Coming up next, we're going to join up with the Shift in Vancouver. Shane and I are going to talk some UFOs, then the SOR Newswire, and the Thought of the Day. Stay tuned. Spaced Out Radio continues. Geraldine, we're going to give you a few claps for a great show tonight.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dave. It's been an honor to be here, and I can't wait to see you soon, okay?
I know, my beautiful friend. You take care, okay?
All right. Much love.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye. Great show. Another great show by Geraldine. She's so brilliant. Talented. Lovely. All right. Let's go here. What does Shirky Poo have for us? In an abbreviated... SOR Newswire. See what we got here. There we go. That's a good one. That's a good one. Yeah. That's a disgusting one, but we're going to say that one. That's a good one. And don't need that. Nope. Hey, it's Vancouver. There's Vancouver.
Mr. Dave Scott, Spaced Out Radio. How are you doing, my man?
Where is he? Where is he? How you guys doing?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Good. How's your show tonight?
Oh, it was fantastic. Fantastic. My beard did very well tonight.
Oh, that is very good news for beards.
Exactly.
Everywhere.
Exactly. How you been doing, buddy?
Doing okay. Yeah, just kind of dealing with a bit of an earache, but other than that, as long as I don't listen to anything out of the left side of my ear, it's okay.
Okay. Well, as long as you're taking care of that, those hurt.
Yeah, no, I'm on a pretty strict drug regimen right now, so that tends to be helping.
Well, that's good. Excuse me. All right. So I guess we're talking some aliens tonight.
Yeah, with Mr. Shane Hewitt, yeah.
Good old Shane. I won't get it screwed up with Alex this time. Or Eric, or whatever the hell his name was last week. Felt bad about that. Was it Eric?
Oh, yeah, Eric.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Eric.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. No, it was all right. It was totally fine.
Well, you guys, our segment must be doing really well with your audience if you guys continue to bring on an idiot like me.
Oh, no, like we really like you, and like it's perfect for the late night audience, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's all good it's all good from here, man.
Yeah, I see that. That's good.
All right. Yeah, so we're coming back in about a minute or so. We'll try to link up with you at 36. All right.
Yeah, I'm just over 100 seconds here.
Okay.
All right, man.
All right, sounds good, Dave. We'll chat with you real soon then.
Sure, not a problem.
All right. Join you soon.
All right, I'm going to go talk to my YouTube guys here.
Only on history.
Hey, little Davey Altman. Geraldine left about 3.5 minutes ago. You were late. You're going to have to catch the podcast on that one.
CDC and Provincial Health Services Authority guidelines for applying disinfectant to your carpets, upholstery, hard surfaces, air ducts, and more.
We follow physical
Good old Dave Altman
protocols to make your home or office clean and healthy. Get 30% savings on all services now, including carpet, upholstery, air ducts, and more. 30% off.
Call 1-800-440.
Dave Altman, I will tell you all of you, is a really good dude. Really good dude.
Here, on an island getaway, with the ocean breeze blowing, local market bustling, right in the heart of Vancouver.
Don't tell him I said that, though.
You are here. Take a little local vacation today on Granville Island.
All right, they're coming back.
This is Canada's all-night conversation.
Listen to that.
The ship.
Let's hear what they're going to say.
I'm Shane Hewitt, 877-399-9898.
All right, we're 30 seconds.
Guest here on the program, and John Jang is the new host of the Friday night version of the Shift, so that's coming up. Next week, he's visiting with us, and in conversation tonight, John's got some stuff that you can look forward to with, in case you missed it later on. But first, what does university look like and all that? John, in 15 seconds, give us a hook. What is it? What's the conversation like next hour?
Yeah, well, I mean, COVID-19 changing so much of the way we live our lives on a daily basis, and now that school is back or coming back, taking a look ahead and how universities are also changing, maybe not by choice, but now because of COVID, and how it might be a
All right, let's do this then.
Be more the better. We'll find out.
All right, 877-399-9898. What would you call everybody if somehow I've been dubbed with Malort?
We've rounded third. We're heading for home tonight on Spaced Out Radio. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. Thank you so much for joining us. I want to remind you that if you missed most of this show or others, you can check out our free archives by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. And we're going to be hooking up with the shift in Vancouver. Shane is going to hook up with us here momentarily. We do this every week where we talk a little UFOs, aliens from coast to coast, right across Canada. We have a good time with that as well. Thank you so much.
I think that in all of these names and nicknames that we've been doing here, we've got a dub for you, and that's the Prince of Space.
Oh, okay. That works for me. That works for me. You know, I do charge for titles, though. I do charge for titles.
Oh, you do?
Yes.
Oh, good. What do you charge for titles?
I don't know. I work in radio, man. Nothing's free. You know that, or everything's free, I guess. That's why we do it.
Nothing's free. Everything's free. I think is the way that one goes. Welcome back to the program, Spaced Out Radio. Dave Scott, how are you, my man?
I am doing very well. Thank you very much. It seems every time that you and I hook up, there is a little bit of breaking news when it comes to UFOs. One of these days, I'd like to talk something different with you, but there's just so much UFO news out there that I guess we just got to go with what's hot, right?
So is this the story of Marco Rubio news? Is this the breaking news?
Well, there's two little pieces of breaking news I have tonight. Do you want to start in the United States or do you want to start in Canada?
Oh, I want to start in Canada always. What's breaking news in Canada?
All right. Do you remember a couple of weeks ago when we last talked, and Drex and I had talked about it quite a bit, about my keeping your audience and my audience informed about the emails that I sent to 9 different politicians, 3 conservatives, 3 liberals, and 3 members of the New Democratic Party about UFOs. And I was always telling you guys,
what's going on?
Yeah, well, I was always telling you guys, because I sent the first email out on July 1st. The second one came out on the 3rd week of July. And I waited, and I waited, and I patiently waited. I got a response. And the funny part about it is, somebody from Ottawa, I'm not going to say who, what, where, when, why, because I want to work this source a little bit. Okay, because finally I got my in. Okay, but this person has been paying attention. Now, they are not an MP. I will say that. Okay, for our American listeners on my side listening in, a member of Parliament is what an MP is. So, but this person seems to be very, very in tune. So I got an email stating that they had tried sending an email through my website about the MP's email, which I had spoke about on this show and yours. And then it goes on, when you previously mentioned you spoke to your MP, who I think is Kathy McLeod, because I live in the Caribou region of British Columbia, where all things strange happen. This person says, I had to laugh as she probably had no idea how to handle this sort of question or comment. In fact, I don't know which members of Parliament have spent any time thinking about this topic. There are some significant differences between Congress in the United States and Parliament up here. None of our MPs are privy to anything classified, so there is never any opportunity to get the briefings that the senators in the United States have received. The committees in Congress in the U.S. yield a significant amount of power and influence, while ours in Canada do not. We do not vote on specific projects or anything along those lines at committee, nor can we initiate new spending. There are benefits to both systems of government, but at least in the United States, individual senators or congresspeople are able to treat national security or Department of Defense related issues in a very nonpartisan manner. The closest we now have is the new National Security and Intelligence Committee of Parliamentarians. This committee does not approve money, but it certainly can review materials that no other standing committee would be allowed to. Then it goes on to say there's a lot of history behind how this committee was established, mostly revolving around the issues of the Taliban. Then there was the issues of the F-35 purchase, which the NDP and the Liberals could never wrap their heads around. Even to this day, the Liberals are now kicking themselves in the butt for making the 2015 campaign promise to never purchase them. This is how we ended up with Aussie planes as a stopgap measure. Anyways, this person goes on. There's a few paragraphs here that I'm not going to mention yet because I don't want to give anything away. I hope you can respect that. But this person does say, I should also say that I sent John Greenwald an email. Now, for people who are familiar with my field, John Greenwald is one of the big name players in it. He actually has a website called theblackvault.com, which is fantastic. And he said he got a fresh batch of Department of National Defense reports. However, John never responded. This person goes on to say, what I was looking into was the chain of command or where these sort of files end up at the DND. I don't know if we have radar reports, video, or eyewitness testimony, etc. But if we do, I want to know how it's processed. Now, this is the first time I've been contacted by somebody within the Canadian federal government about this subject, which means that if this person is talking about it, and even parts of the email that I have left out for the time being, that they are in the know that this is going on, that certain people are talking about it, but there seems to be this chain of areas where the chains are all locked up on this topic. Nobody seems to know who is dealing with it. Now, whether that's true or not on a public level, or if it's true just because they're trying to keep the situation quiet, the tie to NORAD and what Canada's role actually is in ufology. Right now, we don't know where that is processing. That's the difficulty of finding out. We don't even know if our own Department of National Defense, run by Harjit Sajjan, who is the defense minister, we don't even know if he is involved in these type of situations when it comes to unidentified aerial phenomena. Are we there?
Shane, you there?
Is Shane there?
So what I hear in this is that that there is a conversation there. Is that what I'm hearing, or is this crazy, Dave?
No, there is a conversation, and apparently this person who sent me this, all right, they're looking into it. Other people are trying to figure out where this is coming, but it's not a hot button topic because our members of parliament do not deal with Ministry of Defense issues. That is the Department of the Defense, and it doesn't go to vote in some sort of action where we have a panel that will sit down and say, okay, what are we doing with these aliens or UFOs or unidentified aerial phenomena over Canadian airspace? It's just not happening.
So who do you go to next, Dave Scott, if you want to find out? If the MPs aren't getting briefed on this stuff, how do you chase this down next? Because that sounds like it's sort of in the old boys club and there's just no access.
Well, that's what we have to find out. What is that old boys club? Who is actually in that old boys club? Which department is looking into it? I mean, we can file all the FOIAs that we want, and the FOIA requests will either come back blacked out, or maybe we will get some information. I like the old hardcore journalism type of style, where let's just, go Canadian, drop the gloves, let's go, let's make a bunch of old school phone calls, talk to some people off the record, give them your word that you're going to go off the record, and then eventually something will happen where they give you some kind of goods. Now, we don't know if CSIS is involved. We don't know if it's the Canadian Department of Transportation, which, if there's a sighting of a UFO by an airplane, like you're flying your Cessna or a pilot of Air Canada sees something, that they have to report it to the Department of Transportation. Maybe it's covered under those. We don't know. But those are the phone calls that we definitely need to be making.
We need to hear from more pilots is what we need to hear for. Because there was a story that was out of LA about that guy who looked like a jetpack guy flying around 3,000 feet.
Jetpack guy.
We want to hear. I mean, that could just be a jetpack guy. But I mean, the reality is we want to hear from more pilots because they've got to be able to see this stuff.
Oh, absolutely they are. And that's the big story in the United States with Marco Rubio, the senator, who is very hot to trot about getting, government funding for unidentified aerial phenomena because, he wants to know, is it jetpack guy? Is it the Russians? Is it the Chinese? Or is it something else that's invading United States airspace. And that's what we're seeing right now. He did an interview earlier today with a website called Mystery Wire that is led by the legendary George Knapp, who broke the Bob Lazar story back in 1989. And they are saying point blank that the public and the Pentagon are on a need to know more basis, not less, about UFOs. Now, many times during this video interview, Rubio actually refused to say it was about little green men. So there's the cheap shot. Okay. That's the cheap shot that every politician, whether it's Rubio, whether it's former Senator Harry Reid, shoves into the media so that way the story can be, bounced as quickly as possible by many media outlets. Okay. But he did say that we don't know where these are coming from. And he kept saying the interest isn't about UFOs coming from outer space, but it is about trying to figure out, does a country or an adversary on this planet have technology that has been able to invade Western airspace, namely American airspace, in this kind? However, he is not ruling out the idea that there may be some sort of UFO type craft or extraterrestrial type craft coming from the stars above. He just doesn't want to go there. He doesn't feel comfortable in going there until everything is locked down on whether or not these craft that are getting in contact with the United States military pilots and even airline pilots have been deciphered, that they are not coming from countries like Russia and China, North Korea, or whomever on this planet.
So this is the Marco Rubio information where he, in the video, by the way, he looks like he's sitting on the toilet. Can we just acknowledge that?
Right.
That's weird.
Right. He's got to get a better, he's got to get a better place, maybe a little poopery or whatever it may be. I don't know. But
rate my space for Marco Rubio's toilet videos that he's publishing in his Miami Dolphins shirt.
Exactly. But we can make fun of this. Okay. And trust me, but the fact is the American politicians, and Rubio has a lot of pull within the Republican party. He has a lot of pull within the Senate Intelligence Committee. All right, we're dealing with somebody who is on the first name basis with a lot of these people, and they have been briefed. We know they've been briefed. From what I'm hearing from inner circles within sources, that there are some politicians that are a little wigged out by what they are hearing. All right. And they don't believe that the public should know about this, but there's a large contingent out there who believes that the public should know. And the big question comes down to, if they aren't from here, where are they from? And if they are from another world, who is sending them? And are there aliens on board? But we're not allowed to say aliens because we cannot put aliens with UFOs any longer.
Is that the big out? Is that the escape hatch, the little green men? I mean, calling it little green men. Is that the escape hatch saying, well, by the way, this conversation is happening, but I'm just going to make fun of it now because I don't know how to deal with
And that's exactly it, because that's how they get the skeptical public, because there's still a large majority of the public out there who does not believe or want to believe that this phenomena is real. They don't believe the videos that have been put out by the military. They do not believe that there are aliens here. They think people like Travis Walton, or in Canada, somebody like Miriam Delicato, or somebody along those lines who've had, very close encounters with extraterrestrials. They think it's all a hoax, even though there is more than ample proof that says that it's not. We're too caught up in our own personal lives, and especially right now in 2020 with COVID, with, the economy the way it is, with the way the political situation is. Do we really, really have aliens on our bingo cards right now for 2020? I don't think we're going to see any type of disclosure anytime soon, but we do have to be careful and realize that there is more to this than what we are seeing. And it's about time that people start asking questions. And as I say every time I'm on the air with you, the media has to do a better job at asking questions, because this is fairly real. It doesn't mean aliens. We wanted to say aliens because that's what I do for a living. But what's wrong with asking questions? What's wrong with journalism on this? Why not ask a question?
Well, and it's not inaccurate to say, the aircraft versus we don't know if there's an alien in the aircraft, right? So, I mean, so that to me, I'm okay with that because that part is, at this point, we just know that it could be an alien aircraft, but it is an aircraft. It is something that we don't quite know, but it still acknowledges that it's there. One texter, Rick, I did have this question for you, Dave Scott.
Sure.
Are they called UFOs again, or are we still going with the UAPs? Which way does that go?
Right now in Canada, we are still calling them UFOs. I mean, we're trying to get politically correct on the UAP platform, Rick, but I don't know. It just doesn't roll off the tongue very well. I'm not a fan of it personally. I do use it. When I write with it, I use it, but I'm just not a fan of it.
There was another texture that maybe this is a good topic for next week. We should pocket this because they ask questions about some of the documentaries and shows that are out there that do lend toward credibility and good storytelling. Maybe next week on the show here, Dave Scott, why don't we dig into some of the best documentaries available like Netflix or some of the other different sources.
Sure.
And we can compile some of those if people want to check some of those out. I think that'd be fun.
Sure. And if anybody has any questions, I like it when you fire those text messages off to me. It makes me almost feel like I know what I'm talking about, which is kind of cool.
Which you do. Dave Scott, spacedoutradio.com. You can find all of if you just Google the Spaced Out Radio, spacedoutradio.com, you'll find all of the tweeters, you'll find all of the website stuff, and then you can ask Dave the questions. Thanks, Dave. It's great to hear your voice, man.
Always a pleasure to have you guys on Spaced Out Radio. Thank you very much. Take care.
Right on, Dave.
All right, let's get to the news, shall we? This is how it ends. Oh, I love my Bumblefoot. Yes, I do. The news is always changing, which is why we bring you the SOR Newswire, the back end of every show, where we get to the weird, the strange, the wacky, and sometimes the nope. You know, if there is a reason to burn down your kitchen, it's this one. All right? An Australian man called reptile experts for help when he arrived home to find 2 large snakes had fallen through his kitchen ceiling. Stephen Brown said he responded to a Brisbane home when a man called complaining of a 9.5-foot carpet python and an 8.2-foot carpet python slithering around his kitchen. Both of these snakes were 2 of the fattest snakes I've ever seen, as in the amount of muscle they had. Very well fed. Brown said in his Facebook post that he determined the big serpents had fallen through the man's kitchen ceiling. Boy, how hard is that when you see the pictures of the kitchen ceiling broken? Anyways, the snakes were safely captured, relocated more than a mile. You just have to burn the house down. You get snakes like that, you just got to burn the house down. There is no answer for it. All right. And a weird one here. This one should take place in Florida, but it's actually taking place in Pennsylvania. When committing a crime, probably not a good idea to leave behind your personal contact information. This is what happened at a pizza parlor in Pennsylvania when a man applying for a job at the restaurant decided to rob it instead. This was after he apparently filled out an application with his personal information on it. Authorities have charged 22-year-old Nicholas M. Mark with robbery with the threat of serious injury, theft, possession of a weapon, simple assault, and possession of drug paraphernalia. Old Mark had a pretty bad day. He reportedly stole a tip jar from Pizza Doro and used a knife to threaten an employee who gave chase. Oddly, the suspect reportedly applied for a job at the restaurant before grabbing the jar and apparently left behind all of his contact info. Thank you for making our night, Nicholas M. Mark. Thought of the Dave happens every night at this time, where we ask a question on our Facebook and Twitter pages, then read your responses on the air because we love the audience participation around here. Today's Thought of the Dave is as follows. We're into the final third of 2020. What else can happen this year? Let's go to Dirty Filth. Some drunk aliens crash their spacecraft into a cruise ship at port, then try to get away, but the craft is too damaged. Governments are forced to say, surprise, aliens are real. We were just about to disclose that to the public, by the way. Peter, well, this is the beginning of week 2. Achilles tendon isn't anything to be messing around with. Shut down my restaurant for the next 2.5 months. 2020, goodbye already. Derek, woman records a massive cube-shaped UFO hidden in the clouds on Florida beach. Mark is wondering if the second coming of Christ is going to happen. Ross, yeah, we're not going to read that one. There might be some profanity in that one. We don't want to do that. No. Gabe, Alf shows up and wants to be our first alien world president. Nikki, this isn't funny, David. You simply do not want to know. Major events start happening between September through December 2020. Quite horrific. Davey, Trump, Putin, Johnson, Merkel, Macron all pull their faces off to reveal their true non-human identities. Chris, well, technically Vancouver and the Rangers can still get into the Stanley Cup playoffs. Dick Daigle, alien overlords. Catherine, we could wake up to 25 centimeters of snow tomorrow. That's only in Saskatchewan. Steve, my DNA test results come back as non-human. Mark, the crapper's full. To quote National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, literally it's full because of all the rain this year. Yeah, actually, his crapper is full. He showed me pictures today. Yeah, well, not of his crapper, but of his septic. It's full. Science Bob, major disclosure kerfuffle or nothing. Heather gets the final word. Fake alien invasion. Solar flares from sky wipes out electric grid. Oh, here's a good one. Alex gets the final word. David Icke, Jordan Sather, and Laura Eisenhower get the Presidential Medal of Freedom. We got Mr. Ron Bumblefoot Thal rocking in the background with Little Brother is Watching. Bumblefoot is the official music of Spaced Out Radio, rocking us in and out of every single show. Get your horns up for the guitar god himself. Special thanks to everybody listening in at work, at home, in your cars, wherever you may be. Everyone in our chat rooms on Spreaker, YouTube, LGAB, Rev Radio, Facebook, the Space Travelers Club on our website, and all the snarkers and snarkettes hanging out at hashtag Spaced Out Radio on Twitter.
I know you're out there somewhere.
Remember, this show is copyright by Spaced Out Radio and SOR Media Ventures Limited. Thank you so much for choosing to share your evening with us, because together, my friends, say it with me,
we're watching.
We own the night. Mr. Bumblefoot, we need a favor. We need you to take us home. The Woo Train has docked for the night, but tomorrow, my friends, we shall ride again. Your seats are always available. Your tickets never expire. And if you want to bring a friend, guess what? We have room for them too. Have a good night. That's Solid Radio, everyone. Solid Radio. Good job, fans. Good job. Proud of all of you. Proud of you. You worked hard tonight. You all worked hard tonight. Take us home, Roy. Fuck yeah. Yeah. It's my man, Roy. Thank you, Jose. Appreciate that. Eva, I thought you were going to bed like an hour ago. What is the story here? What is going on, Eva? Stu Gerson! The mighty Stu Gerson. The man, the myth, and the legend all wrapped into one. I'll be right back, everyone, while the show is downloading. Bear with me, okay? Thank you. In about 2 seconds here. Yeah. There we go. All right, I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Oh, how we all doing, everyone? How we all doing? All right, so let's change this to Dropbox. Change this to WeTransfer. All right, good job. Get rid of these because we don't need them anymore. And let's find that file. Where'd it go? Oh, excuse me. Hiccup. There we go. And we are off and running. I haven't got to the code yet. Code will come up here in a few minutes. So let me get this all edited, then we'll give you the code. I did play NHL 94, Walter. Wasn't that the one where they pulled out fighting in the game because they thought that too many kids were getting the wrong idea of violence, and their sales dropped hugely in 94. So 95, they ended up bringing fighting back into the game. BF is not Michael. Is that best friend or boyfriend, Eva? So, Stunt Brat, are we going to see you here a little bit more since you're brand new to our chat room tonight? Or maybe you're under a different alias? I don't know. What is going on there? Ah, shit. Forgot to do that. Bastard. Quickly do that. Right now. Right here. Right now. I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. There. SOR 3. Blades of Steel was fantastic. Oh, there's all sorts of bro codes out there. All sorts of bro codes. Oh, well, thank you, Stunt Brat. 777 Space Smith. We're here Monday through Friday. Who wants to go get firewood with me on the weekend? Any volunteers? Hey, Blue Line, how you doing? Ryan, what's up with black triangles? I don't know. Reports seem to be up on the East Coast for them, not so much on the West Coast. Are they human? Are they man-made? Still the big debate, man. Still the big debate. Hey, Conflict Radio, how you doing, man? Good to have you here. Oh, that would be brilliant, Stu Gerson. Brilliant. Good night, Eva. Let's go here. Let's go here. And let's get rid of this one. All right, let's go here. Let's go there and there. And then there. And then there. And then there. Super chat, I'm still waiting for the pin from YouTube. So hopefully that'll come very soon. I'm hoping. But thank you for asking. Let's do this. Okay. Time to get your verification codes ready, everyone. Get those verification codes ready. (921-537) 921-537 is your verification code for tonight. TSW, what's going on, pair of babes? TSW, pair of babes. I'm Googling you. Are you even Googleable? Oh, there you are in the public group. You're on YouTube. Well, let's see what's on TSW, pair of babes. Oh, look at you hotties. I'm going to hit subscribe on your channel. Oh, we love you too, Sisters Wood. Oh, we're going to stay tuned for Diana's medium session, which we're not going to be able to hear. Oh, that's weird area. I'd like to go investigate there. Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, I hit subscribe on your channel. And let's share this folder. Get rid of Dropbox. Dave, you have seen the Berkshire UFO case on the new Unsolved Mysteries on Netflix? No. I am going to be way deep in the dungeon here for the next little bit. I am doing some voiceover work for oh, excuse me. I'm doing some voiceover work. I got to start tomorrow on a documentary. So hey, good night, Dave-o. Dave-o-lay. Dave-o-lay. Good night, Jose. I'm having to get ready for a documentary that I'm doing here in the next little bit. I'm not going to be on film, but they're using my voice, and so that's what I'm going to be doing over the next little while. Have an awesome night, pair of babes. Well, we'll see how it goes, Cat Chaser. So, I'm all done the editing for the night. Tomorrow night on the show, we have Susan Shepard. We're going to be talking a lot of paranormal stuff tomorrow night. It's going to be fun. Susan's a great speaker, and we're going to have a lot of fun tomorrow night with her. So make sure you check us on out, 9 o'clock Pacific, midnight Eastern. And much love to each and every one of you. Thank you so much for tuning us in. Follow us on social media as well. Spaced Out Radio on Twitter and Spaced Out Radio Show on Instagram. And what else can I say? Yeah, do a little shopping at the